support, because I got a whole new page, the whole backdrop, bigger monitor and everything like that. People like you make it happen. So thank you, Harley, for that, for just the support. Caught me off guard. You turned the whole fucking screen red. Harley, thank you. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and start the live in 3, 2, 1. Good evening. Welcome to the show. It is indeed your boy Tim, the handsome liberal, depending on how you want to look at it. We're going to talk about several things here today. There's good news and bad news, depending on how you look at it. Maybe it's all good. Maybe you view some of it as bad, some of it is good. Maybe it's all bad. That is going to be up to you and your opinion. I want to start out by saying that President Trump just lowered the tariff on Japan from 25% to 15%. Now, for his troubles, he was able to get the Japanese government to pledge to invest $550 billion in America and open up its economy, to open up the Japanese economy to U.S. autos and U.S. rice. So, I mean, that means there will possibly, likely, I guess you would say, likely be American automobiles on the streets of Japan. I'll have to see how that works. Japan is a really congested area. I mean, it's an island, you know, just the simple cost of living in Japan is sky high for you to live in a fucking closet. I can't see parking big ass Cadillacs and Chevys on the streets of Japan. So we'll see how that works. Maybe those companies I'm just mentioning, like the GMC, General Motors Corporation, will have to build smaller vehicles if we're going to have access to the Japanese market. But there's no way the Japanese are going to be driving around in expeditions and shit like that. It's you know, space comes at a premium on that island. So I don't see that happening in regards to what we have out now. But that's not to say Chevy, who's left? Chevy, Buick, and Lincoln, Ford. I mean, we lost some companies. Oldsmobile is not around. Pontiac is not around. I'm just trying to think of some of the U.S. automakers. We have lost some. But anyway, dropped the tariff down to 15% from 25% and got a $550 billion pledge from the Japanese government. Do we pat Trump on the back for that? That sounds financially really good. That sounds like a huge financial achievement. Do we give Trump credit for that? Not to mention they're claiming that the tariffs overall are bringing a ton of money in to the U.S. government. Is that something we need to give Trump his credit for, his flowers, his praise? I'd like to hear from you folks on that. The tariffs apparently, at least for now, I don't know what's going to come down the pipe, but at least for now, the tariffs seem to be bringing in money to the U.S. government. Now, there's a couple things to be said here. What good is bringing in money to the U.S. government if you don't see any of it? So we'll see if we see any of it. But right now, they're bragging constantly about how much money these tariffs are bringing into the U.S. government. We'll see how that affects the average American. I'm hearing right now the price of beef has skyrocketed. I mean, I'm seeing folks posting pages, posting shit all over social media. I don't know what the price of groceries are in your area, but I'm not hearing anyone anywhere in the United States bragging about how grocery prices have, plummeted since Trump became president from Biden, when we were all complaining about grocery prices under Biden. I haven't heard anybody bragging about how much they've fallen. So we'll let you folks comment on that and we'll talk about that. But getting the Japanese to invest $550 billion in the U.S. sounds like something Trump should get credit for, but I want to hear your opinion. Real quick, somebody said turn on the Wi-Fi. Let me make sure it is on. If I'm having, let me know, folks, on TikTok if you're seeing any issues. I see you, Sherbert, said that. We do have the Wi-Fi on now. So in addition to that, I got a couple more statements, a couple more topics that are going. I mean, we got 4 topics, and we'll end up narrowing them down depending on the callers and what you guys are feeling. But 2 of them are fairly controversial, and we're going to talk about them. But before we get to those 2, I'm hearing Wall Street Journal. Now, this is the publication that President Trump has just put in a ridiculously huge lawsuit. I think 10 billion bucks he's suing the Wall Street Journal for, when they posted an article saying that he had wrote a letter to Epstein, had all kinds of lewd drawings in it or whatever. Trump says he never sent this letter to Epstein, so he's suing the Wall Street Journal for, like, I think 10 billion or something crazy, some crazy amount of money for defamation. Well, the Wall Street Journal is now claiming this was released. I saw it about 49 minutes ago on the internet. So because I haven't been able to find any actual news clips from this yet, because I like to be able to play clips to you when I'm talking to you. But the Wall Street Journal is claiming that Pam Bondi, Trump's attorney general, Pam Bondi, told Trump back in May. So we're talking, what is that, almost 3 months ago? Back in May, Pam Bondi told Trump he was on the Epstein list. So we've been having a heap of discussions and debates about whether Trump was on the Epstein list or not, and all of this stuff. But apparently the Wall Street Journal has just released an article saying that he knew he was on this list back in May. So the reason we're going to talk about this is from a couple of reasons. One being, here is a clip of Trump 8 days ago. 8 days ago, 8 days ago.
Your daughter-in-law said that there should be transparency in the Epstein case. Do you agree with her, sir?
The Attorney General's handled that very well. She's really done a very good job. And I think that when you look at it, you'll understand that. I would like to see that also. But I think the Attorney General, the credibility is very important. And you want credible evidence or something like that. And I think the Attorney General has handled it very well.
Did she tell you about the review? And specifically, did she tell you at all that your name appeared in the...
No. She's given us just a very quick briefing. And in terms of the credibility of the different things that they've seen, and I would say that, these files were made up by Comey, they were made up by Obama, they were made up by the Biden information, we went through years of that with the Russia hoax.
And then every time he's asked about Epstein, he goes into the 2016 election and is attacking Obama, things like that, which we are certainly about to talk about in a moment. But President Trump, you hear here only 8 days ago, was asked, did Pam Bondi tell you your name was in the files? And he immediately said no. So the Wall Street Journal is stating through an article, you should be able to easily find it online. I cannot find any news. I saw it on Fox. Let me just make it clear. I was watching Fox after getting home from work. And the ticker, now I'm not talking Fox News, I'm talking Fox Live Now. If you get free TV on Samsung or you get it on YouTube, Fox has another affiliate that's not so right-wing. And it was on the bottom of the screen. Pam Bondi has told Trump his name is on the Epstein list. So then I went online to see if I could present it to you. But it's so recent, it just came out less than a few hours ago. So I couldn't find anything, but you should be able to easily find the Wall Street Journal article. So President Trump was told, according to Wall Street Journal, that he was on the Epstein list back in May. And you see him here telling the press 8 days ago that he wasn't told that. So keep that in mind. That will be partially what we're discussing as well. Now to some of the more sinister, controversial topics, as if Epstein is not already controversial enough. As you notice, anytime Trump is asked about Epstein, as of late, he is continuing to divert to Hillary Clinton and Barack Obama trying to take the 2016 election. Many folks are suggesting that's some type of deflection or diversion to keep you off of the Epstein saga. But nevertheless, he is starting to do that. Anytime he's asked about Epstein information, he goes into this rant about what's going on with their pursuit of what they're referring to as treasonous actions by Obama and Hillary Clinton trying to steal the 2016 election. Now, I'm going to ask one question right off the bat, because everybody's saying if Trump is on the list, why the hell didn't Biden release the list during his 4 years in office? If Hillary Clinton and Obama tried to steal the 2016 election almost a decade ago, why didn't Trump say anything about this during his first term? He served a whole term with this information out there. Biden serves a whole term after him. And now, in July of 2025, this is coming up. Can somebody explain that? You didn't get, all of a sudden, you didn't see any of this in your first term. Biden serves a whole term after you, and he didn't hide any of this so you couldn't find it. And it's just sitting there readily available for you to locate. And 9 years later, does that sound like that makes sense to you? So we're going to talk about, I'm going to ask you guys flat out. Should, number 44, Barack Obama, should he be worried at all about possible incarceration? Keep in mind, regardless of how you may feel about President Trump, the dude is a winner. He gets what he wants. It would not surprise me if you're watching football this year and you hear about the new Washington Redskins. Trump gets what he wants. So I'm going to ask you flat out, do you believe that Barack Obama should be worried now that it's pretty clear Trump is continuing to talk about locking this man up for what he is alleging to be treason, which, by the way, could actually come with a death sentence? Should Barack Obama be worried? I want to hear that from you folks. And last but not least, my God, I got asked this question, and I don't even know how to answer this. So I'm just going to give it to you the way it was asked to me. And I do get these asked, you know, I get questions on all of my videos, all of my shorts. I try to respond to a few of them. I get hundreds of questions every day, so I apologize. I can't respond to all of them, just like I can't respond to everybody that's talking to me right now. I got 4 different cameras. Comments are flying all over the fucking place, but I don't ignore anybody. I try to respond when I can. But let me just say this. The question that was asked to me is, Tim, once all the illegals are gone, do you believe Trump is going to start deporting black people next? Now, right off the bat, I'm taken back by this because I didn't have a strong response to it. I'll just say it this way. I don't feel confident accusing Trump of doing something like that in the future, but I also don't feel confident saying he's not going to do it. I posted a couple quick videos on it to hear from you. I was being called a fearmonger from the right, and the left had obviously more sympathy towards the question. But I want to ask you folks, is there any possibility you see of something like that coming from President Trump, where once the undocumented and illegals are out of this country, it could follow up with him starting to deport African Americans? And I'm going to say African Americans in this case because we're talking about citizens. We're talking about actual citizens. I hear from you folks that you think there's any chance at all of that. And I'll give you some reasons on why I believe somebody would even pose that question to begin with. So anyway, this is how the program is ran. You know, those are our topics today. We don't block or censor. We continue to be MAGA friendly. We always will be MAGA friendly. We always have been MAGA friendly. Nevertheless, liberals are welcome on the program as well. We don't block, ban, or censor. What do we say? We go left of Bernie Sanders to I'm having dinner with Q. So if you favor uncensored dialogue from all sides of the aisle, congratulations, you're in the right place. Follow the program if you're watching on TikTok or Clapper today. And if you just happen to be watching on YouTube, give your boy a sub. So going straight to the comments, what would be the loss if Africans went home to Lions country? Says honest opinions only. So if Trump did start deporting all the black people, he's asking, well, you know, what would America really lose? Well, flat out, there's a whole lot of people that are not black that are intermingled with people that are black. Right now, you see a hell of a lot of Hispanics getting deported, and a lot of the people that are crying about it are not Hispanic because the Hispanic community is intertwined with many Americans, blacks, whites, everybody. They're dating them, they're working for them, they're doing, they're associates, they're their friends. Well, the African American community is the same way. There's a whole lot of white people that are friends, associates, married. You know, you're going to be deporting possibly people's fathers and husbands and I mean, everybody. So that would be the loss is you would literally be taking away thousands, if not millions of family members. Hopefully that answers your question, but I'm surprised somebody would even, I'm not shocked in this program that somebody would even ask that. Anyway, continuing on, what would be the loss? Hey, we don't need them anyway. Don't be stupid. Deportation is not a race issue. That's a ridiculous question, says Randy Haskell. Well, I'm going to end up talking to some guests, and I'm going to give you a reason why I believe people would ask that question to begin with. But continuing on, starting out with the program, love to Cruz, and thank you for the sub, love to Cruz. What do you think? Do you think it's ridiculous to even ask that question? And good evening or afternoon.
No, I don't. First of all, thanks for having me.
Anytime.
No, I don't think it's ridiculous, but do I think average Joes like me or you are capable, he might deport us? No. I do believe people like Farrakhan and maybe Obama are, if I was them, I would be worried about it.
Wow. So in other words, he could deport African Americans, but they would have to be people that are either outspoken against him or he has some kind of beef.
Yeah, if he has an agenda against them, absolutely.
Wow.
Absolutely. I don't think to the effect that, like I said, if you deported just say you deported all the African Americans, and I know this is going to sound silly, so I apologize in advance, but there are two things you got to worry about. Where is the sports going to be at with all the white women?
Well, what are you saying? The NBA and the NFL would just not be the same anymore, huh?
Oh, no. And then two, the economy. Black people spend a lot of money. And it doesn't on regular things. We do a lot of designer buying. So you'll be hurting the economy an awful lot if you deport blacks.
That's actually an interesting point because there are things there are businesses, there's food, there's things that are part of our economy that have a larger base that consists of African Americans. You know, they joke about us liking fried chicken and watermelon, for instance. There would be certain businesses, there would be certain companies that are complaining, you know, most of my customer base was black people. And you're hurting my customer base. So you are right about the economy, most likely.
So no, yeah, I think he would have the option, if it's his way, that he would put an option that he could do it. Do I think, like I said, average guys like me or you, I don't think we'll be touched. We're not that important, you know. But other people, like I say, Farrakhan, Obama, yes.
How about this one? Now this is, you know, like I said, I don't block, ban, or censor. So when I hear interesting opinions, I'm gonna throw them out there, regardless of how people feel about it, because we do run an uncensored show. But I'm going to give you this one. You can take it any way you want. But one of my viewers said that if you did deport black people, he gave 3 words: crime would disappear.
You know what? Petty crimes, yes. Mass killings, no.
You think petty crimes, if you deported African Americans, petty crimes would go away?
Yeah, and I love my people, man, but we do like to put stuff in the pockets.
So Walmart would not have to worry about anybody shoplifting anymore.
Well, there's still white people that shoplift. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
You know, but we do a lot of petty crimes.
Petty crimes would go away. Hang on one second, real quick. Harley, you says, as a capitalist, I also believe in sharing wealth, even to a handsome liberal. Thank you, Harley. I apologize for only sending. Don't worry about that. But YouTube really? I didn't know that. I did not know that. Per 24 hours. Wow. And that is, okay, I didn't know that, but thank you, Harley. Appreciate the support. Thank you very much. So, purse snatchings, car thefts, getting your catalytic converter stolen, you wouldn't have to worry about any of that anymore if we got rid of all these Negroes.
Really, no. I'm saying the petty crimes. Now, the upper crimes, car theft and everything, car theft rings. Now that's a 50-50 thing. There are white people. There are a lot of white people that do that too.
But you are, you are making it sound like deporting African Americans might not be a bad thing there, because you're admitting petty crimes would go away and even half for some of the more harsh crimes. So I mean,
don't get that.
I'm asking you. You're answering this.
We can go to Africa and show Africa the way, the American way, and Africa might end up a superpower before it's over with.
Africa don't want shit to do with the American way. That's why when they migrate here, they usually don't want to fuck with us. They don't want nothing to do with it. I mean, listen, the American way is all about capitalism, but it destroys the environment. You don't give a damn about people's health. There's a lot of pros and cons to constantly pursuing the almighty dollar. It's not all good. And so there's a lot of Africans that don't want to indulge in the American way because there are a lot of cons to it.
Well, I disagree with you there. There's some countries in Africa where you're correct, but what about the ones who are starving and are having a hard time, and we go over there and show them what's going on and how to integrate and do things better? I think they would be receptive to us.
Well, when it comes to technology, which you can get from any country, you can get from a whole lot of first world countries other than just America. I'm not saying, that's what I said, everything isn't bad. But what I'm saying is that pursuing the almighty dollar, at some point it can start to get bad when you start putting your pursuit of wealth over the welfare and health of people, or over evolution, or over technology, or over medical cures. There's a lot of people who believe that there's been cures for cancer, but people stifle that because you make more money in the treatment than you do in the cure. Because people are chasing money, they're actually people believe that they've created engines that could run off of everything from water to garbage, but they've stifled that because they make more money off big oil. So there are some pros and cons to it.
Well, yeah, there's pros and cons with everything, but
Right.
I don't think Trump is going to mess with the black people. And then like I said, you got black people, you got interracial marriages. How are you going to do that? Interracial kids, how are you going to do that?
Well, one drop of black, you ever heard of that before?
No, tell me about that, Joe.
You've never heard of that? That if you got one
Yeah,
drop.
I heard
Okay,
of that.
then.
Man, I heard of that.
Like, for instance, you said mixed. Our history has always been that if you're mixed, you're essentially black. You're not mixed, you're black.
Well, I know one way. I know one way we can stop that thought. Somebody get hold to his daughter.
Oh my God. Oh my Lord, I can't believe you just said some shit like that. Well, Ivanka is happily married, but he does have other members in his family, I guess, that you could kind of pick at. But I don't know. You try to date his daughter, you might not be safe. I mean, you might get... Remember when Michael Cohen was what he used to call his cleaner? I'm sure he has other guys that have replaced Michael Cohen. So all of a sudden you get a knock on your door in the middle of the night, like you need to rethink your dating strategy and what can you do? I mean, I'm sure that guy got some pretty decent henchmen that work for him still.
Yeah, but I don't, and I'm not a Trump fan, and I hope I'm not coming off as sounding like one, but I just don't believe he'd do that. I don't get me wrong, I think he's capable of it, very much so, but I don't think he would do it.
You think he's capable, but you did start out by saying folks he have an issue with, like Farrakhan or Obama, he would do it for, though, right?
Yeah, I believe he'd do it to them, but I'm saying overall, all the blacks.
Okay.
I don't think that. He can get away with Farrakhan, Obama, and a few other ones, but he can't get away with doing just mass deportation of all the blacks. He can't get away with that one.
Well, I mean, but isn't that bad enough that if you would deport actual black people that are citizens simply because you got a beef with them?
Say that again?
I said, but is that not bad enough that you're admitting that he would actually attempt to deport U.S. citizens simply because he has a beef with them?
Yeah, but on a small scale, just say Farrakhan. Yeah, if you had a beef with Farrakhan, how many people are actually going to speak up and say, no, that ain't right? And there is going to be, I mean, we would speak up, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But I'm saying he can get away with that more than he could with nasty.
Yeah, but do you realize how many people are being critical of Trump? How many blacks from Roland Martin on down that are speaking negatively of Trump? I mean, if he could get just the ones he got a beef with, and then, of course, they're going to have supporters, friends, and associates that are now bitching about him all online. I mean, this could easily snowball into thousands of people.
But I mean, Roland them been speaking up on him for years.
He wasn't.
For years. He's getting away with it. And let me tell you what be the edge that they need, not for the black people, but for some white people, is that fair times a Muslim.
Okay.
So he's gonna hit him with the fear part, and it's gonna be more. I'm not saying it's gonna be more tolerant than just say doing all the other black people.
So let me close by asking you this, because you mentioned that he could possibly deport Obama out of a beef. Do you think Obama should be worried now that Trump is constantly talking about he has committed an act of treason and indicating that it's time to go after this guy? Do you think Obama should be worried?
Yeah, I think anytime an idiot says your name out in public like that, I think you should proceed with caution. Yes.
Wow. So how do you proceed with caution? I mean, Obama is not exactly constantly talking about Trump. Trump is the one talking about Obama. So what can he do?
Well, you're gonna have to talk to some of his friends, and like I said, that's a tough one. Obama, because I've seen how him and Trump coincide in the public. Now, I don't know what's going on behind doors, but I've seen him at like the Pope's funeral and other things like that.
Oh, I can answer that for you. Obama's trying to be cordial when Trump don't like him. That's what's going on. Because Trump is constantly, I mean, you don't hear Trump constantly, I mean, better yet, you don't hear Obama releasing statements or constantly saying negative things about Trump. It's the other way around. I mean, so Trump obviously don't like this guy.
Yeah, but and the fact that I'm sure Obama knows it. If you know it, I know Obama knows it. So that's the reason to proceed with caution. Now, like I said, I don't know if he can do it. I'm just saying, sometimes when somebody tells you something, take heed to it. Now, how can you stop it? Man, that's above my pay grade.
Wow.
So
that don't make
he's
it.
An ex-president. I'm sure he has doors he can open too now.
Yeah, but Trump has a whole lot more loyalty and cooperation, I think, than Obama could get. I gotta move it on, but you do admit he should be worried, though. Wow.
Hey, one more thing, man.
Sure.
Me and my friends, we were talking, and this is just a scenario. Sometimes don't you wish that he had went ahead and won the other election and beat Biden, so this had been over with?
Do I wish Trump had won and so he would be
Biden, and this would have been over with?
I don't know if it would have been over with, Love to Cruise. I mean, Trump is flirting with serving a third term. If he had to beat Biden in 2020, he could be on his third term right now. I mean, Go ahead.
I don't think that would have happened because he had more people, more guardrails up in his last committee than he does now. Right now, he got a bunch of people there.
Yeah, but if he had got reelected, he was probably going to start getting rid of some of those guardrails, like Pence and stuff. I mean, obviously you've seen what happened toward the end of his first term about how he felt about Pence. If he had won that election in 2020, Pence was not going to be his vice president. I mean, even though they ran together and all of that, if he had won,
he could have got rid of Pence if they had ran on the ticket together, and they would have won. He could have got rid of Pence.
He was going to get rid of all of them. All of the ones that, Attorney General Barr had already stepped down. I mean, the people who were putting up resistance, he would have just formed the same type of coalition he has now 4 years ago. So I'm not for sure that if Trump had won in 2020, we wouldn't be working on his third term right now. I don't feel confident saying that.
Well, what's the difference between then and now? he still might work on it when he gets through here with 2028.
Well, the main difference is because of his age. I mean, so the idea that he could take a third term starting at what 83, so he'd be president from 83 years of age to 87. So that took me. I think Father Time is probably your biggest ally in answering that question.
Well, like I said, me and my friends, we were just talking. Okay. But we didn't put the fact that he might fire Mike Pence because part of our argument was I'd rather have Pence as a future president than J.D. Vance.
You weren't going to get Pence as a VP the second go round. Trump has proven throughout both of his terms that if you don't agree with him, you're likely to get fired. So Pence wasn't going to be around. But Lada Cruz, I do got to move it on.
Thanks a lot.
Anytime. Moving on with the program, I want to play something for you folks. So there's no shortage of folks that would hear someone suggesting that Trump may start deporting Americans and respond by saying that is just a really bad case of liberal fear-mongering and Trump derangement syndrome. Why the hell would anybody be suggesting that Trump is even talking about deporting people? That's not something he would do. He's only here to get rid of illegal immigrants. That's his only goal. He's not trying to deport Americans. He's not going to do that. So why are the liberals fear-mongering?
I'd like to go a step further. I mean, I said it to Pam. I don't know what the laws are. We always have to obey the laws, but we also have homegrown criminals that push people into subways, that hit elderly ladies on the back of the head with a baseball bat when they're not looking, that are absolute monsters. I'd like to include them in the group of people to get them out of the country, but I'd like to go a step further.
If you heard what he just stated, he gave examples of violent crime. You heard him say hitting old ladies with baseball bats and things like that. But he clearly orated that he was talking about American citizens that do that. He referred to them as homegrown criminals. So I just want to, now I understand the question surrounds African Americans. That's the question, because somebody asked me that. Would Trump likely start deporting black people next? And folks are like, that's ridiculous, it'll never happen. So putting that to the side, take note that he is talking about deporting Americans, just he is stating criminals, violent criminals. Now we already know the prison systems is filled with African Americans that that qualify as violent criminals too, but he's already at the point, not going by race, but he's already at the point of talking about deporting American citizens. I think many of you folks are aware that he also suggested he would look into deporting Rosie O'Donnell, or not deporting her, but removing her citizenship, because she moved to Ireland to get away from him. So she kind of self-deported to some degree. But he talked about taking away her citizenship, in addition to what you just heard there. And of course, here's his spokesperson.
To follow up on deporting American citizens to Central American prisons, is it legal, or do you need to change the law to do it?
Well, it's another question that the president has raised. It's a legal question that the president is looking into. And he talked about this yesterday with his meeting with President Bukele in the Oval Office. He would only consider this, if legal, for Americans who are the most violent, egregious, repeat offenders of crime, who nobody in this room wants living in their communities.
So understand, he clearly is considering deporting American citizens. They're just not referring to them as black people. So, in regards to he's not going to deport black people, that's ridiculous, that's fear-mongering. But he is talking about deporting somebody. So are we assuming that, black people will be immune to it or something like that? I don't know. But the idea that he could deport American citizens, how could you refer to it as fear-mongering when his own administration is now admitting it? You've heard him say it, and here you hear his own spokesperson saying it. So he clearly is talking about deporting Americans. So when folks suggest that it's fear-mongering or it's ridiculous, how can it possibly be ridiculous when they're openly saying they intend to do it? They're just saying a certain type. Right now, we're only talking about criminals. Is it possible that could spread to another type of, another segment? Okay, it was criminals today, maybe tomorrow it's disabled or something. I'm just throwing stuff out there. But understand, he's talking about deporting American citizens. That's undeniable at this point. So we're going to go back to the box because folks hit me hard in the comments about that. It's ridiculous. He's not going to do it. Then why is he saying it? Obviously, Rosie O'Donnell's another who wrote, and by the way, Rosie O'Donnell's not a criminal. She doesn't fit any of these descriptions. She's just somebody that criticizes him. And he's talking about taking her citizenship away too. So if it's fear-mongering, can somebody explain why he's constantly talking about doing this? Mike, good evening, welcome to the show. Tim, do you live in a... you want to know what neighborhood? 50.1% of those receiving SNAP, TANF, and rental subsidies were black, and 27.7 were Hispanic, U.S. Census Bureau. All right. Mike, good evening.
What's up, Tim?
I don't know. This is...
You're gonna start calling me Mike. You're gonna start calling me Mike the Racist, according to Twisted yesterday.
Oh my God!
Next time he does that, bring my ass up. Do not let him do that and talk about me and not bring me up. That's the only time I'm gonna mention his name today.
He swung for the fences. But let me ask you though, is it ridiculous? Somebody asked me this on one of my videos. It was on YouTube. Normally, if they ask me on TikTok, when I make the videos, I put the actual comment and pin it there. But I can't pin a YouTube comment on TikTok. But somebody asked me flat out, Tim, do you believe that once Trump has deported the illegals, he will start deporting black people next? And I made a video and people hammered, it's ridiculous, it's fear-mongering, the liberals got Trump derangement syndrome. What say you on a topic like this?
100%, because how do you tell the difference between a Haitian immigrant or a Jamaican immigrant if the racial profiling exists and we're doing and the only way you can racial profile is on the exterior, right?
Yeah.
So if you're profiling Hispanics, you're looking at them. And the sad part is, if you don't believe me, anybody listening, watch Major League Baseball, turn the volume off, and tell me who's who.
That's a good point.
Watch Major League Baseball, turn the volume off, and tell me if the people you see on the screen are from here or are they from somewhere else.
That's a great point, because they do have a hell of a lot of Dominican Republic, but the Japanese, I mean, they got it's a lot of diversity in baseball. I get what you...
Exactly. So the answer is, 100%. I think they will. I think they will. I think that's their plan. 100%. Because all you're going to listen, when people are saying you're fighting for criminals or you're fighting for, no, we're fighting for the Constitution. We're fighting for due process. That's what we're fighting for. I don't have to wait. I don't have to wait and go, well, this ain't my fight, so I'm going to stand back and not say anything without understanding all the targets are going to do is just get darker. They're not getting lighter, Tim. They're getting darker. It is what it is.
Well, here it is, Sal. One of my YouTubers made a statement, and this kind of hits home to what we're talking about here. He says, yeah, violent criminals is what he said about the immigrants, and it ended up being all of them. Now it will be blacks and Hispanics caught in the street. So he kind of agrees with you. You make an interesting point about the profiling part, because I think that it's hard to deny that when they're going to Home Depot and these farms and these factories, if you're brown during the ICE or immigration raid, if you're brown, regardless of citizenship, you don't have the right to tell the police, I don't want to talk to you. I'm 100% legal. I'm at work. There is no law that requires I speak to you or give you any idea at all if I'm doing nothing wrong. That's not going to work with ICE and immigration officials. Now, legally, it's supposed to. The police, they legally have to have a reason to stop you. They're supposed to have a reason to stop you. But we know if ICE or immigration show up to wherever you're at and you happen to be brown when they're raiding that place, that ain't gonna work. They're gonna force you to talk, give ID, or they're gonna probably detain you. So I gotta agree with you to some degree that if they're going after Haitians and you're black and you're around them, it's probably gonna apply to you as well.
Is it a bet that you would even, would you even risk it? So this goes back to our conversation yesterday. If I get pulled over by ICE, got their face covered, they don't want to identify themselves, I'm supposed to just comply? And in that moment, I'm just supposed to comply, let them do whatever they want with me, because I've been racially profiled and I could be in a detention camp somewhere and be deported off? Because we can't say that's not happening, because We just had 10
I wanna push back because yesterday, I told you I believe you should always comply with police, even if you think it's a bullshit stop. I'm gonna say, even in a situation like that where they're wearing masks and not identifying themselves and things like that, in this current environment, if you don't comply with ICE or somebody who is claiming to be ICE, because people are posing as them and robbing folks too, but if you got 3 or 4 guys standing around you, they're heavily armed and military fatigue and they got masks on their face and shit like that, and they tell you to do something, you don't comply with them, they're just going to escalate it. You could end up losing your life. So you have to.
You know what? You know what, though, Tim? I'd rather lose my life right where I stand than to have them put me on a plane and ship me off to somewhere where people can do whatever to me. I'm just being honest. I mean, why would I risk some people that don't want to identify themselves and are treating me inhumanely right now, that they're going to do the right thing once they get me subdued and in cuffs? Why would I think that? I'm actually probably setting myself up to go to Sudan or Libya, where we know the human rights. I mean, people aren't paying attention. This shit is real.
I can't push back because I'm an avid fan of the active self-protection channel on YouTube. I know some of you folks watch that, and that's a piece of advice he always gives when you're in trouble: is never let somebody take you to a second location. Either when it's on, you got to fight to die right there, because there's nothing good happening at the second location. Unfortunately, that applies to ICE right now. So.
I literally took that stance when we've been. If you've been studying, if anyone's been studying crime, and they say, don't go to crime scene B.
Yeah.
Ain't nothing good happening in that.
Yeah, but Mike, we never ever thought we would put law enforcement in that category. It's one thing if somebody's trying to throw you in the back of a fucking van. But we're now treating law enforcement as if they should be viewed the same way as a random kidnapper.
And the problem is, and you're right, and the problem is law enforcement doesn't police law enforcement. Law enforcement doesn't weed out those people that are affiliated with far-right supremacist groups. Law enforcement knows that they exist. Law enforcement, they protect their own. You mean to tell me that some of these things that with these officers, that you could not take all of these officers and do a significant real background, and you couldn't connect them to some of these groups that are policing our streets?
Yeah. Well, the thing is, they want heavy numbers on deportation, so they don't have time to go through all these checks and balances. They want 3,000 a day or something like that.
Yeah, but they never have gone through the checks and balances, even when it wasn't about deportation. That's how they exist. That's how the sheriff that stood up in Florida exists, Tim. He didn't come in as a sheriff. You don't think he was working the streets or working the jails before he was promoted up to sheriff? And the entire time he was promoted, you don't think he's done shit to have those views as the top cop? The top cop's never supposed to take that position. So if he's saying that at the top, what was he saying when he was on the streets? What was he doing when he was on the streets? What was he saying when he was in the jailhouse? What was he doing when he was in the jailhouse? That's the part that people miss. He can't, if he's standing there, he's at the top of the pyramid in the sheriff's department. So what he says trickles down to his officers.
Well,
so why are we doing this shit?
I want to run this by you. This is a statement I'm getting on YouTube. Now, I've preached on this in detail, but I'm gonna let you have it. In the comment on YouTube, Your Quantum Reality says, if you're an American, you have no reason not to comply with these people. What say you?
What I say is that whoever that person is isn't paying attention. Whoever that person is isn't really applying logic, or they have no empathy or sympathy, because they say that. But I just said, if they're listening, 10 U.S. citizens just got returned after being deported to El Salvador. Yeah. So, and they got snatched the fuck up. They weren't doing anything wrong. They never should have been deported. They didn't have any criminal record. So I just seen Mishi. Mishi posted,
I follow her channel. Now, she was reading what happened in this article. I don't know, I'm not going to say it's true or not. I didn't look it up. But she said they grabbed a guy who was deaf and mute, brown, of course. And, he tried to show him he was an American by showing him his driver's license that had the Real ID star on it. They took his driver's license, did not give him the time of day, handcuffed him, and threw him in one of those holding facilities, and he literally disappeared from his family. And all of the instructions they were giving him was in Spanish. He's been here since he was 2, according to her. He does not speak Spanish. So they're trying to talk to him in Spanish. He's deaf and mute, so he can't communicate because he's handcuffed. So his sign language is taken away. They actually deported him to Mexico. And the sign language in Mexico is different than it is in America. So he's in a country where he cannot communicate with the people other than writing, and he has to be able to write in a language that he doesn't speak. I mean...
Again, Tim, they don't give a fuck. And here's the thing. The bottom line is, to the Jeremys and the comments or whatever, all I ask them to do is if you change the color of the target, if you change the color of the target to white instead of brown, if you change the targets to deportation to white women, will they feel the same way? I asked this question on the live earlier from a guy who was about deportation. When I asked him the question, it took him 15 minutes to answer a direct question, but he finally said, yes, I would probably feel different. Well, then, if you can feel different because the target looks like you, it tells me that you understand the discrimination, the racism. You understand it. Because if your position changes by the target, that tells me a lot about who you are.
So you kind of did the Matthew McConaughey example at the end of A Time to Kill, basically. Yeah.
Time to Kill,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
And again, it's real. It's real, and when they try to act like it's not, or they try to say one is too many, but then you give them the one case that you just said, they're going to other the shit out of it. Well, maybe or that's just one, Tim. And how many deaf and mute? It's all, they're trying to avoid the realities of this country. And the bottom line is, this is a fascist movement. This is some racist shit. We know it to be true, and they're following our leader, who is a flat out liar. Now, can I put a pin in that?
Before you do, what about the notion, like weird Texas deplorable MAGA says they came in against our will, we will send them back against theirs?
That person doesn't know the fucking Constitution or the immigration laws. That's what I'm saying, Tim. These people just, you can't tell them enough. To say that they came in against our will, it's our immigration laws. Yeah. It's our immigration laws. Those laws have been in place. It's not like they wrote a law or they said we're going to do whatever the fuck we want to do. That's not what happened. But that's what they believe because the guy behind you told them that. And his followers have been parodying that shit, and they believe it. Right? Let me give you a perfect example. We talked, I forgot yesterday, we talked about him, and they believe in that Obama has been treasonous, and that Obama did this, and Obama did that. But you know the funny part that they don't talk about? Yeah. When the man behind you was at the summit in Helsinki that year? Okay. And he was asked by a reporter, do you believe your intelligence agencies, when they told you that Russia interfered with the election, the 2016 election, and then he said, I talked to him about it, and I have no reason not to believe it. Do you remember that?
Yeah, I do remember that. What
year was that, Tim? That was 2018.
Yeah, I do remember him saying, I don't remember the year, but I do remember him saying that.
Okay, well, the year matters because if it was 2018, that was during his presidency, and who told him that Russia interfered? He was the president in 2016. Yeah. So for them to come out now, and Pam Bondi said they found all this shit and that he treasonous, that he lied, your DOJ told you that Russia interfered.
Well, let's be clear. Just like with Tulsi Gabbard, Tulsi Gabbard is the one that is saying Obama committed treason. But just a few weeks ago, Trump was telling Tulsi Gabbard she didn't know what the hell she was talking about when she said Iran was not trying to develop a nuclear weapon. So I don't know, all of a sudden now when she says Obama committed treason, she suddenly is, valid. But when she said that they're not developing a nuclear weapon, she was invalid. He said she doesn't know what she's talking about. So I don't know how he's picking and choosing that.
Well, you know how. And then to call him guilty, to say he's flat out guilty. He said it's not evidence, it's proof.
Yeah.
He said his words were, it's not evidence, it's proof. Well, what the fuck is proof, Tim? It's evidence.
Yeah.
I mean, listen. They have to get their minds wrapped around their embracing fascism. I've been telling you about the 14 tenets of fascism for 7 months now, Tim.
I do remember.
7 months. And I've asked you.
Stacey Abrams did a really good video on that.
Did he check all? Are they checking all the boxes, or am I exaggerating?
She did a good video on it. I'm just saying, really good video on it. Really good video.
Listen, that's my point. And I know you got to go. We got to tap the screen, share the live, get Tim up to 30K. But let me just say this, Tim. All of this, it's amazing how they believe when Trump says they have evidence, they have this stuff. But what has he ever presented to support his position since he walked down the escalator?
Well, in closing, I'll just tell you, it says on the hat, Trump was right about everything. So it always turns out right when it comes to Trump. You know what they say, the guy's a winner.
But he's never presented a shred of anything.
You don't have to.
And listen, and he doesn't have to, because people like Jeremy, who's in the comments telling me I don't know what he's talking about. The funny thing is, Tim, if you ever bring me up with one of these fools up there, they better have their computer open. Because I don't, when it comes to this shit, if we're going to talk about it, we're going to vet it real time, but we're not going to talk about it.
I was really thinking about bringing you up with Twisted, but anyway, that may happen later on today. I got to put it on. Thank you, Mike.
All right, bro.
Appreciate it. By the way, tap the screen. He did make a good suggestion there. Tap the screen, get us on up to 38,000. Jeremy is the main one making up shit all the time, says Debo. Oh my God. Looking in the comments real quick. So you'll have to fight, hustle, and grind just to stay afloat. That's not freedom. That's servitude. Yikes. Yikes. And I am starting to hear, despite now, because we're talking about giving Trump credit for the fact that he's gotten the Japanese government to agree to commit $550 billion in investing in the U.S. A lot of folks are saying Trump's tariffs are bringing a ton of money into the United States. But in regards to that comment, you're having to grind just to survive. Is there really any Americans that are really benefiting since Trump came in office? I assume there is. I don't think, certainly at the upper end of the socioeconomic scale, but in terms of working Americans, let's say people who are making, less than six figures, 90,000 on down, are people in that financial bracket, are they really benefiting from the Trump administration? I assume the no tax on tips and overtime will eventually turn into some money when you file in January of next year or whatever. But right now, in terms of groceries, gas prices, the cost of living, interest rates, and things like that, are Americans benefiting? That's a question for you folks. In the comments, Aura Fying says, I can't trust you. Wow. Shout out to Public Enemy. Don't they have a song like that? Can't trust it. My kids would never be allowed at your house. Damn. Same guy, by the way. Same guy. Can't trust me. Not going to let. Oh, but he actually says you have a picture of a pedo behind you. So he can't trust me because he believes that President Trump has abused children, leading him or her. I'm assuming that's a horrifying. I don't know. The name doesn't really tell what sex it is, but the person is saying because I got a picture of Trump behind me, they don't trust me and therefore would never let their children be around me. Well, look, I'm asking questions about Trump. I'm not necessarily a Trump supporter, and I certainly don't abuse kids. But thank you for your input, Horrifying. Thank you for your input. I don't shop at Whole Foods. No, but what about Aldi's or your local grocery store? Have you seen the price of food and groceries dropping at all? Has anybody seen that? Have you seen since Trump got in office as opposed to Biden? Because we were complaining about everything from the price of eggs to the price of milk and groceries under Biden. Have you seen a significant drop in regards to your purchases under Trump? Real quick in the comments, Jen Newman, not if you don't, okay. Calling Trump a pedo, but not calling out the dude that showered with his daughter at 12 years old is wild. in my opinion, if you call out Biden for sniffing kids' hair, or as you say, allegedly showered with his daughter, but you're skipping over Trump, I'm going to say that's equally as wild. If you see all of the stuff orbiting around Biden as circumstantial to the point where you call him a pedo, but you don't see anything orbiting around Trump, I'm going to say you got to be biased. If you can clearly see that sniffing kids' hair and you're going by the diary, and that's enough for you to really feel a certain way about Biden, but you don't see Trump talking about he'd be banging his daughter if she wasn't his daughter and telling a 10-year-old I'll be married. If you don't see anything wrong with that, but you see stuff wrong with Biden, you just gotta be biased. That's the only way I can look at it. Continuing on, but we're talking about the notion that somebody suggested that Trump, after the illegals are gone, might actually start deporting people of color. How likely is that? Jeremy, good evening or welcome to the program. Jeremy, only certain items that immigrants buy. That's a lot of items. Jeremy.
It's always got me on his mind, just like Gangster Grandma. They love me so much.
Maybe you're a lovable character. I'll be talking to Gangster Grandma soon. I'm sure she'll have a little bit different opinion on that. But I got a person that asked me online, after the illegals are gone, do I believe Trump is going to start deporting black people? Now, I was driving, it hit me. I'm like, I don't normally get emotional when shit happens. But, because normally questions don't stomp me. I'm willing to admit if I don't know the answer to some shit, and I like to talk to you folks, whether it's MAGA or liberals. But this one it was weird because it hit me to the point where I don't feel confident accusing Trump of deporting black people in the future, but I don't feel confident saying he's not going to do it either. So I'll get your take on it as well. Is that a crazy question to ask, or is it legit to feel the way I did?
Targeting black people for being black, no. That's stupid. That's just stupid. That's uneducated. That you're already deporting people of all races anyway, so if a black person gets deported, it'll make it mainstream news, even if everything checks out, and even if an immigration judge looks at him and says, or even if 3 immigration judges all confirm, yeah, you did not come to the country right. So that's probably what's going to happen.
Well, we're not talking about people who quote unquote came to the country. We're talking about people who was born in the country. We're talking about Americans.
That's not going to happen.
You don't see him ever deporting Americans?
No, that's stupid.
Then I'm going to ask the obvious question: why the hell is he talking about doing it?
You mean the homegrown's comments?
Well, Rosie O'Donnell's another one. I mean, why is he talking about taking away citizenship of Americans?
Well, I haven't seen him do that.
He's done it. I mean, he went online. He's done it. He's talking about taking away Rosie O'Donnell's citizenship too. She was born and raised in America, so he's talking about doing it. Even with the homegrown comment, he's talking about Americans. Why is he doing that?
Yeah. First off, I didn't see the Rosie clip, so this is news to me. Yeah, I'll trust what he said. That sounds just like him smack talking. Number one.
Yeah, but how is an American that's concerned supposed to just toss it out? If I got concerns and then the president says something that literally validates my concern, why would you expect me to just toss it out? I mean, he is talking about deporting Americans.
Could you do me a favor and show the Rosie clip?
I'll see what I can find because I believe he got on Truth and sent it out in terms of an actual post. But I'm sure I can guarantee you this. I know The View and people like that because she used to be on The View. They covered it. It's been all over the news. They did cover it. I can't believe you didn't hear that. Where do you get your news from?
I get it from all over the place.
And you haven't heard that.
Yeah, I didn't hear about it.
Yeah. And I see somebody in the comments said Rosie left the country on her own. I heard what he said lightheartedly. Yeah, I left the country for 5 years. That don't mean you take away somebody's fucking citizenship. And I can see if she went to Russia or somewhere you thought she was involved in espionage. She's in Ireland. You don't take somebody's citizenship away because they left the country. But I'm asking you, even with the homegrown people, why is he talking about doing that?
Well, so here's the thing. There's kind of a bullshit thing about birthright citizenship, which is that people can use them as anchor babies, in order to basically bypass the system. Now, the solution to this is to deport the parents and to say you can either take your child with you or you can keep them in the States, but you're not staying.
That ain't what we're talking about, though. That ain't what we're talking about. We're not talking about somebody who had a baby and trying to get an anchor baby or something out of it. We're talking about somebody that was born in this country. In regards to the whole homegrown, somebody was born in this country and maybe committed a violent felony.
That's what he was talking about.
You think he was talking about anchor babies?
Yeah, anchor babies, and specifically the ones that engage in terror.
Okay, let me play the clips of him actually saying it, because I don't recall hearing any of that.
Sure.
I don't know what the laws are. We always have to obey the laws. We also have homegrown criminals that push people into subways, that hit elderly ladies on the back of the head with a baseball bat when they're not looking, that are absolute monsters. I'd like to include them in the group of people to get them out of the country, but
that ain't got nothing to do with anchor babies. And I want you to hear it. Hold on, I want you to. This is 30 seconds. I want you to hear the other clip of his spokesperson, the 27-year-old girl. Yeah, no, this ain't the AG. I can't think of her name. She's 27, but I want you to hear what she has to say.
Follow up on immigration. Deporting American citizens to Central American prisons. Is it legal, or do you need to change the law to do it?
Well, it's another question that the president has raised. It's a legal question that the president is looking into. And he talked about this yesterday with his meeting with President Bukele in the Oval Office. He would only consider this, if legal, for Americans who are the most violent, egregious, repeat offenders of crime, who nobody in this room wants living in their communities.
So he ain't talking about anchor babies at all. He's talking about just a felon,
Follow up on immigration.
Hell, this could have Tupac. I mean, just any felon that has gotten involved in a crime. This has nothing to do with homegrown. This has nothing to do with anchor babies. They're not even bringing that up.
Okay, so that's actual constitutional violation.
Yeah. So now you should be able to understand why somebody might be fearful that even as an American citizen.
It happened the way you said it. It said it's going to be, unless you think that only black people commit violent crime.
No, but you notice that most of the people in prison. Listen, let's just be honest about it. If you're black and you go before the court system, you're at a disadvantage simply because you're black. I mean, being impoverished doesn't help. So if they start going at the violent criminals, you don't see this possibly netting more black people than others?
I can see it netting more of them because they commit more violent crime.
Well, I don't. Well, we can debate that, but when you go before the system, money matters, and blacks are among the poor.
I'm not going to deny that.
Yeah,
I'm not going to deny that. There's that old phrase: "The process is the punishment."
Right.
So I'm not going to deny that, but that helps with some white people as well.
Yeah, but you do realize blacks are probably the poorest demographic in this country.
Well, actually, there are more. This might be an old information. This might have changed recently. But when I was in high school, we learned that actually there were more total white people who were poor than
the country is 60% white. There's gonna be more white people than anything. But we're talking about per capita, percentage-wise. There are more a greater percentage of impoverished blacks among its race than impoverished whites among its race.
Yeah, that's true.
Right. So if you start putting people before the system, the poor people are the ones that are going to predominantly be victimized by this, which is going to net a lot of black people.
Yeah, but that's not a racist policy. That's a classist policy. That needs to change amongst us things for the class. Now, that is a real issue. I definitely agree with you. One of the biggest problems is that public defenders are overworked and underpaid, and there aren't nearly enough of them to take on the caseloads that they get. However, again, that's classist. That's not racist.
Okay, but if the end result is still the same, I mean, if the end result, racism is going to net more black people, classism is going to net more black people. So if the end result is still the same, okay, you just called it classism versus calling it racism. But the end result is going to likely be more blacks getting deported.
Okay, but why is that important?
Because you're deporting citizens.
Yeah, but isn't it more important to just not have people go to a place that they don't deserve, period, rather than making it a race issue?
This
like,
is
because it really feels like you're grasping at straws, man. I'm not gonna lie.
yeah, this is almost, but I'm bringing it to you because somebody asked me this. I would have never presented this question, but it caught me off guard and I didn't have an answer for it. But the reason I'm bringing it up, to what you're doing to me is essentially like the argument of Black Lives Matter is reaching, should say all lives matter, when you're actually ignoring what they're actually complaining about. In this case, if you don't like it being called racism, you prefer classism. The point is, we're complaining about the possibility of deporting American citizens.
Hold on. If you misdiagnose the problem, you don't get the right solution. Then that calls for things like quotas to make sure that you have like a certain amount of white people going into prison as well. That can mess up the whole system. That's not the correct solution. The correct solution is to figure out how to make it so that way money is less of an issue when it comes to going to court in the first place.
So the problem here is deporting actual Americans. What's the correct solution to a president talking about deporting actual American citizens?
Let him find out through the Supreme Court. They're not going to allow that.
You feel confident in that? The same court that gave him gave him immunity. You feel confident in that?
Yeah, absolutely. Like, look, Gitmo only exists because it's an American prison on foreign soil, but it's still operated and controlled by America in an area we control. That's the only reason why we have that in the first place. If it wasn't for that, Gitmo wouldn't exist.
So if the Supreme Court doesn't do what you feel confident of, then what's the solution?
Well, then the actual solution is to have Congress and the other branches of government come after him.
And have you seen any evidence that that'll ever happen?
I mean, things barely.
They're not even coming after him on. They're not even coming after him on the Epstein shit. They deliberately suspended Congress.
A lot of them are probably on that list.
Well, there's a lot of them that probably would be okay with sending American citizens overseas too. I mean, you don't know. That's what I'm saying. How do you feel confident that any of the checks and balances will work against a guy that none of the checks and the balances are working against him now?
Wait, okay, so listen, no matter what, our checks and balances have always come back to minimize the government. This has happened numerous times throughout history. Happened under Lincoln, happened under Bush and Obama.
So how do you even feel personally to hear that your president wants to deport American citizens and remove people's citizenship that was born here? How does that even make you feel?
Well, that's the nice thing about being somebody who doesn't support the guy. I don't have to feel bad about it. I can just say it's not right.
Okay. So you no longer support Trump?
I've told you that already.
Yeah.
This is not new information. I told you, I would have voted third party. I would have voted, and not for fucking Kamala. No, I would have voted I would have voted libertarian.
I don't know. Even when you look at Kamala's, the worst.
I just don't like when people criticize Trump for stupid things. Like, if you're going to criticize him, there's plenty to actually criticize him about lack of transparency with Epstein and stuff like that. Criticize him for real stuff.
Well, to me, I don't see. I get your stance that you think suggesting he's going to deport black people is reaching, but when you're admitting that he's going to support actual citizens, and you're admitting that it's going to likely be classism that's going to determine who gets deported more, and then you're admitting that black people are going to be at the lower end, so that classism is going to affect them more. It's just really semantics in the wording. You don't like racism, but you're admitting the same result. The people that think he's going to deport black people, which is a racist thing, you're pretty much admitting that I don't like calling Trump racist on this, but you're admitting the same result is going to happen.
It's an important difference, and there's a very important distinction to make.
How?
Okay. Because, as Tim, the right solutions only come from diagnosing the problem correctly. Even if the result of something is the same, if they come from completely different processes, is the way to undo them is to address the processes correctly.
So if you address the system is based on classism versus racism, tell me what's the change? How's that going to change anything?
Okay, so let's just say that he gets his wish and somehow he finds a way where the Supreme Court doesn't object to it because it's somehow completely legal for him to use El Salvador to deport American citizens. Okay? Let's say he does that. Okay? The issue that you have to resolve is not how many black people are going there. Because then all you'll do is just make it so that way a bunch of white people who are just as innocent and go there more often. That's not going to do anything to make less innocent people will go there. Instead, the actual solution is to look at, well, why is it so expensive for people to go to court? Why is there such a big focus on money when it comes to whether you go to jail or not? And then address those problems directly. Then all of a sudden, you're going to see a lot of those numbers of black people disproportionately going there go down really fucking quick.
Well, I'm just going to say this. Let's say I think that the guy is deporting people because he's racist. You think he's doing it because he's classist. But I'm complaining, and your only complaint is I'm wording it.
Yes, I think the system is.
Well, whatever the case may be, I'm saying if somebody that is of African American descent is complaining that he's doing stuff because he's racist, you're complaining it ain't racist, it's due to classism. But instead of complaining to him like the black person is doing, you're only complaining at the black person for not wording it right. To me, you're not an ally. You're more focused on the wording than the actual problem.
No. Not wording it right. Words matter. I'm sick of this notion like, oh, words are flimsy. The only time words don't mean anything is when your actions don't align with those words. Words absolutely do matter. We have to label things correctly. Why do you think it is that people like Mike making the comments constantly call?
You voted for Trump. Did you vote for Trump?
Hold on. Do you really think that it's because everyone's racist, or do you think it's because racist is an easy label to dismiss somebody so you don't have to engage with their actual arguments? It's a low IQ, unintellectual thing that he does all the time because he can't actually debate. But
here's what I don't get, Jeremy. You're saying words. Here's what I don't get though. You're saying words matter. You voted for Trump in 2024, correct?
Yeah.
None of his words or tweets matter to you at all. You still voted for him. Like you mentioned, Mike calling everybody racist. Trump calls everybody socialist. You still voted for him. So you're telling me words matter, but you voted for a guy who gives you more words than anybody.
He doesn't call everyone socialist. In fact,
oh shit! He just said the other day that he hates Democrats because they hate America. Does words matter?
I think that's no more hyperbolic than when the left says something like, "Oh no! Let's hold you to your own standards."
I don't know what they are anymore. Go ahead.
But seriously, like all the time, you guys say, "Oh, the right has no empathy" or something like that. It's the same tactic. Now, do I feel that he should have done that? Probably not, and I think that was a stupid thing for him to say. Okay, but again, I voted for him because originally his ideas were good. He actually had good ideas and seemed to be able to produce.
Okay, so if somebody uses the word racist, words matter. But if he says I hate all Democrats, that turns into hyperbole. I don't understand where you're making that decision.
That wasn't right. I said he shouldn't have done that.
No, you didn't. But you still. It was still okay to vote for somebody who was saying all this hateful stuff about everybody. But then when it comes to somebody else, you don't like hateful stuff.
No. I don't remember him saying that before he got elected.
I mean,
how long ago was that?
No, he didn't say that before he got elected. But do I have to go through every quote unquote mean tweet? I mean, the guy was bragging about. Give me $2 gas and mean tweets is what you guys were saying. You were bragging about how much you liked his words. He said all kinds of insulting shit, bird brain and all these other names. I mean, the guy's literally found. If you
shit was funny. That shit was funny.
Okay, then maybe racist is hilarious to somebody too.
Yeah, but why is it that some people like Mike and gangster lobotomites doesn't seem to like? Yeah, no, I'm gonna say it. Okay, why is it that they never seem to have a joking manner about it? Okay, clearly, if you don't intend any joke behind it and you say it in a serious way, then clearly you're trying to get people to believe that it's legitimate.
Something.
Again, it's just a very low IQ tactic that's used by dilettantes who don't know how to debate.
I'm just going to be honest with you. I don't know what are jokes to Trump supporters or even MAGA, because some of you folks found it comedy when he posted a picture of Biden hog-tied in the back of a pickup. You guys said that was a joke.
I didn't find that funny at all.
I've had plenty of MAGA that said that was a joke, so I don't know what it. Huh?
Are they mean? Are they mean?
No, I didn't ask you about it, but I'm simply saying to me, if you're doing something like that, I don't see the comedy in none of this shit. I'm just simply saying you're picking out what you don't like and finding humor in what you do. That's all I'm saying. If you're in,
or more like he didn't do that until he actually got into office.
no, he sent the picture of Biden all tied in a pickup before he was in office, if I'm correct. He did it when Biden was still in office.
I'm pretty sure that happened afterward.
Doesn't matter when it happened. This guy's running for president doing that.
Well, you asked me why I voted for him.
You know, I asked you this stuff because you said words matter, but then all of a sudden, when we talk about all these things that Trump has said, well, that's a joke, that's hyperbole, or maybe that's out of context.
Well, context also matters too. Like, yeah, words do matter, and so does context. Like, for instance, if words didn't matter, and context didn't matter, then you can never tell a joke.
So when he says that Hispanics
couldn't make a living, comedians couldn't make a living.
So when he's not a comedian, he's the president of the United States. I don't know why comedians coming in.
Which is why he did the whole hogtie thing. I was like, that was stupid as fuck. Why did you do that?
What about suggesting that the immigrants are vermin and they're poison in the blood of America? Did you chuckle at that?
Yeah, wait, vermin. I don't remember him using that term.
How could you not hear this shit?
Okay, play the clip.
I gotta actually move it on. I mean, I can't believe you haven't heard this stuff.
Yeah. By the way, before I go, can I make one last statement?
Sure.
Guys, I understand that there's a lot of old boomers who are emotionally attached to the Late Show. Late night TV as a whole was dying, okay? Just let it go. It had nothing to do with any deal.
That ain't
you just
true.
don't want to move on. You don't want to admit that what the kids watch nowadays isn't late night, and that wasn't cool.
All right, Jeremy, thank you for coming through, and I'll address what you just said, but thank you for coming through. Yeah, real quick, I don't agree with what he just said about late night and boomers and things like that. Now, he is correct. More people are online and getting their information from other places than watching CBS or NBC or ABC at 10:30 at night. However, Stephen Colbert, in that 10:30 Central, 11:30 Eastern time slot on CBS, he's number one. He's above Jimmy Kimmel, he's above Jimmy Fallon, he's above Conan O'Brien, and none of them are getting fired. So the idea that, they're getting rid of Stephen Colbert because they're losing money and all this, no. Right in the middle of Paramount trying to merge with, I think it was ByteDance, a company, by the way, that is ran by a close associate of Trump. That company is ran by a close associate of President Trump. And all of a sudden, during that merger, whoa, Dencal, appreciate that, thank you. Right in the middle of that merger that Trump has to authorize. The merger between Paramount and ByteDance cannot happen without Trump authorizing it. Paramount has control of whether Stephen Colbert is on the air. Paramount wants to merge with ByteDance, who is owned by one of Trump's associates, and all of a sudden, Stephen Colbert gets fired in the middle of this deal that can't happen without Trump. And we're supposed to suddenly believe that it was Stephen Colbert's ratings and pay that got him fired all of a sudden. With something as circumstantial as that? No. Trump is all over that. I don't think anybody is buying that. Trump is all over Stephen Colbert's termination. Stephen Colbert, with his pay, some suggest, well, the ratings weren't enough to justify how much he was getting paid. Well, did they present any opportunity for him to take a lesser salary, to cut back on staffing? No, they just canceled the whole fucking program. For the guy who was number one in his time slot, they just decided to cancel the program. Come on now. They could have put the guy on social media or something. They could have still made a fortune off of this guy. They just canceled him out of nowhere, completely. And Trump ain't got nothing to do with that. Talk about an oceanfront piece of property in Nevada, huh? So I'm just going to say I don't agree that it had anything to do with pretty much anything more than Trump got in the middle of it and said, listen, I get the authorization or the control of making sure this deal happens. And I'm going to tell you, Paramount has this guy that's been a fucking thorn in my side. He needs to go. You want this deal? We can make this deal happen. That guy needs to go. Same thing with him telling the Washington Commanders that if they want the deal of a new stadium in D.C., They need to change their name. I mean, he just came out and admitted that, which I don't know how that would survive a lawsuit. That you literally are threatening not to approve a deal if they don't change the name. How can you even have the legal authority to do that? But I mean, if they sued him, to me, it should be a dead giveaway. I mean, he admitted that if they don't change your name back, he's going to fuck with a deal. How can you do that? Not to mention the whole notion that we don't like big government. You're going to use big government to tell a private business what name they must use. And you don't hear MAGA complain about that at all. Anyway, looking in the comments, you're restrained on the wrong things. You think you're sentiment, but you're all puppets of false power and control. I don't know exactly what you're talking about, but I appreciate the comment. Foxfire Tucker at the top was that Trump's fault too. No, Foxfire Tucker crossing because Tucker was caught on there lying and it cost him $750 million. How about that? Hopefully that helps coming even from a clown, as you say, Michael Klinger. Thank you for your input. Let me continue on with the program. Just like Fox fired Bill O'Reilly at the top of his game. If you do something that's outrageous, that's different. They didn't fire, Stephen Colbert's salary was not outrageous. They didn't give him any opportunity to take a lower salary or anything. He didn't do anything that was outrageous like that. Denkel, good evening.
Good evening, good evening.
Deporting black folks, is that ridiculous or what?
Before we get to that, piggybacking off what you was just talking about, what happened to the Republicans? What happened to the conservatives that used to always parrot the line, keep the government out of our business, leave private business alone. Y'all stay out of us and let the market do what it's supposed to. Well, we got this guy who's literally using the power of the presidency.
Yeah.
He talked to the leaders at Coca-Cola.
He's gonna change the ingredients.
Yeah. I'm talking about individual companies. He's calling them, he's threatening them, he's talking to them, and then he's coming out before they have a chance to address the conversation, and he's setting the whole narrative. Now, Coca-Cola came out and said, well, we didn't actually say that, but we will bring out, a line of, pure cane sugar Coca-Cola, but it's not replacing their main product. So they doing it just to appease him, to, to keep him pacified. But why the hell is our president talking to individual private companies and telling them what to do?
Because he can. This is why I asked earlier. Go ahead.
My question or my statement was about the people that call themselves conservative or Republican.
They're MAGA now. They're not conservative Republican. They're MAGA now.
I just wanted to
traditional. I mean, didn't count. Traditional conservatives are rhinos now. I mean, they're MAGA now. I mean, plain and simple. If you try the Mitt Romneys, the Adam Kinzingers and Liz Cheneys, the George W. Bushes, those are rhinos now. I don't even think Ronald Reagan would fit in at this point. I mean, they're rhinos. You got to go with Trump. And when I say the difference between traditional conservatives and MAGA is that traditional conservatives, they have certain principles. As you're talking about small government, pro-2A, pro-religion, things like that. MAGA is Trump. If Trump goes with traditional conservative principles, then cool. If he decides to change on 1, 2, or 100 of them, then they're going to follow that. So MAGA is solely based on what, if Trump says, we need to reach out and work with Kim Jong-un and end all this conflict and stuff, they'll work with that. If tomorrow he says we need to bomb them because we tired of them talking shit, then they're cool with that too. So it's not really standing on principles like the traditional conservatives. It's what Trump thinks is okay.
Well, at least I'm glad to say that you were correct in that ultimately when these people, when they've had enough or when it's just too much, they'll do like Jeremy is doing. He's slowly backing away. He's still in the cult, but he's slowly backing away. He can't help himself. It's a habit now. He just got to defend anything Trump does. But when you ask him directly, I don't support him anymore. I don't support him anymore. But then it's a reflex for him when you say, well, what about this? And he probably subliminally doesn't even realize he's doing it now. He's like agreeing with every fucking thing you do, everything Trump does. And then you try to add in, well, what about this? Well, no, he's not, nothing's wrong with that.
Well, listen, I get it. Everybody loves a winner, and Trump has done such a great job sticking it to the liberals. I mean, like you said, if you vote for me, you're going to get tired of winning. They've seen so many things that the liberals favor or the liberals were not liking. They're drinking liberal tears. I mean, it's been a big celebration. Some of it is coming home and it's not working out well for them, but to some degree, I understand the notion of being drunk on victories. Trump is always scoring victories against the liberals, so they don't want to admit that it's time to maybe jump off some of the train and, acknowledge that, okay, some of the things Trump is doing as of late is not good. They don't want to do that because the winning has been euphoric almost.
Right, but some of them try to parrot his talking points, and it only works for him.
Yeah.
For him to just get up there and say, well, words really matter. And then
I couldn't believe he was.
All of these words Trump is saying. Well, no, you're taking it out of context. Well, that was all of this stuff.
Yeah, I couldn't believe anybody who ever would vote for Trump would say words matter. Like we've been told to ignore what Trump is saying since he came on the scene. Pay attention to his policies, not what he said. Like words matter in 2025? Are you kidding me? I couldn't believe he said that.
Right, and so think of it this way. This is one word or one phrase that he said that goes totally against what he's been telling the rest of the world. He told the rest of the world the reason why we're doing these tariffs is because he's using the Emergency Powers Act to say that all of these countries are abusing us and it's a threat to our national security, right? Yeah. That's what he told the courts, right? It's still going through the courts. We don't know what the Supreme Court is going to say. The other day he gets on TV and says, well, why are you doing this to Brazil? Because we got a surplus with them. And he gets on TV and says it's because I don't like the way they're treating their former president who got kicked out for corruption. Imagine those words in the hands of a prosecutor in front of the Supreme Court saying, no, this is not why he's doing that. But they'll overlook that. They will overlook all of that and be like, well, yeah, he's doing it because he's going to benefit us. He's doing the tariffs. They don't understand, well, they don't want to understand where the tariffs are being paid by us.
I mean, I get that the tariffs are being paid by us, but I gotta give, like I said, I give a shout out to the guy when I say he's winning. Is that he's not even hiding it anymore. That he's using the government as a weapon, like you said with the Brazil thing. He's imposing tariffs on Brazil solely as revenge for them going after one of his former buddies that used to lead the. I mean, it ain't got nothing to do with the U.S. economy or the surplus or our trade deficit. You just do not like their system suggesting that this guy was part of a coup and they're punishing one of their own citizens. And in defense of that citizen that you liked, you're going to impose tariffs on the whole country. I mean, he's not even hiding it, just like with the whole Redskins thing. He's not even hiding it anymore that he's using government as a weapon.
But then the moment you say something to one of them about, hey, this is behavior. Oh no, it's not racist behavior. It's what did he call it? He said it's
classes. He says classism.
Yeah, it's classism. It's got nothing to do with why he's picking on every single minority in the damn world. And not saying anything about any Norwegian, any Caucasian, none of that. He ain't said a word about none of those countries.
Well, let me ask you, since you're talking about picking on minorities, do you think Obama should be worried? I mean, he's making it clear they believe Obama committed an act of treason, which can include the death penalty. Do you believe Obama should be worried?
No.
Not at all.
I believe these people are just doing what everybody knows they're trying to hide, they're trying to obfuscate, they're trying to get rid of this Epstein stuff. Every legal scholar, anybody who has talked about this at length, all say the same shit. They've had committees research this shit, during his first time in office, now his second term in office, all of a sudden, the same people like Tulsi Gabbard, who was a part of those committees back in the day, who looked at all of this stuff and agreed that the Russians did interfere and all of this stuff, are now trying to say it was Obama who was really doing it. They would have to literally go stand up there and say, I was dead fucking wrong, but now I'm right.
I mean, do you think they would have a problem doing that?
They would have a problem doing that. Yes, I believe.
I mean, Trump made it sound like, well, he didn't make it sound like, he did say Zelensky had started the war with Russia, and now he's admitting Russia's the enemy. I mean, so I don't think he might. Well, he doesn't come out and say I'm dead fucking wrong, but it's pretty obvious when you change your stance like that.
Right, but I'm just saying, like, he's just using it. They talking about they referring it and all of that stuff. Why the president is saying it's already decided, like he's the damn court. You know, it's already decided. It's a crime. He should go to jail, like with no due process, no nothing, just coming out on TV. Remember back in the day when the Department of Justice job was not to be in step with the president. It was to only come out and announce stuff when they had legitimate reasons to pursue a case, not just to come out and say, oh, we found some new shit and he guilty. Like that's not their
But
job.
I think we all know, whether you're MAGA, liberal, progressive, whatever, traditional Republican, we all know that Trump's entire administration is working on behalf of Trump. If they can help the U.S. citizens and the U.S. government, so be it. But their first loyalty is to Trump, not the U.S.
Bro, Obama got elected 2 times.
Mm-hmm.
You talking about a motherfucking civil war in this fucking country if they motherfucking lock him up?
Wow.
No, bro. Not after the goddamn Supreme Court done came out and said, as long as he was talking to the people in his camp, he's immune, right? Isn't that what the Supreme Court
That's what the Supreme Court ruled. He should have. So you're saying you believe that if they were to lock up Obama, we could have civil unrest?
Yes.
Wow.
And look, and I'd be leading the fucking charge. Ain't no way I'm gonna sit around in a fucking country that when these motherfuckers want to start a distraction, that they can literally lock up somebody who was the president of the United States, who was in here trying to give people health care, who was trying to do the best he could for American citizens. And if we don't stand up for that, then we don't stand up for anything. I get it, they talking shit, that's one thing. But let them actually try to take him to court. It's gonna be a fucking problem. There's a lot of people. How many of MAGA talking about, yeah, I voted for Obama?
Yeah, that's true.
No, he was a good fucking man. Regardless of all of this shit that we going through, if you try to turn this shit around by using Obama as a scapegoat, his coalition is gonna lose a lot of fucking people.
Yeah, but you need for that to happen, you tend to need somebody, I mean, I want to bring up Cyrus or the Warriors, but you almost need somebody like Trump did when Trump said we're going to go to the Capitol building. Trump can direct the charge. Obama would likely be taking the high road. Couldn't you see Obama telling people to not be violent over him?
Look, if it got to the point where Obama was actually going to court and was about to get fucking arrested, you think he'd be still talking that Mandela shit? Hell no. And I guarantee you, Michelle would be out there telling my fuck what I said when they go low. We go high. No, fuck that. She would be dead. It would definitely be a totally different atmosphere in this country if they tried to do some shit like that.
Wow. All right, Dick, I got to move it on, but damn. Wow. Because, I mean, they're making it clear they're willing to do it. I mean, that's frightening.
It's talk right now. Referrals are just talks. They've been referring people since they started 6 months ago. Referring just means they're going to take a look at it, and it doesn't really have any power to it. There's no consequence to it. So we'll see, but it'll start getting really thick out here. And I think the Supreme Court would have to fucking step in because they know what that would do when you start, when you start just out of the blue. It's different if you take somebody through a trial, But you don't have the president of the United States come out in the beginning and say he's fucking guilty. You've tainted any jury pool in the whole fucking country. No way he could get a fair trial, so it would have to deal with.
Well, but let's just be clear. Anybody that Trump accuses of something, the overwhelming majority of MAGA is going to think you're automatically guilty. That's why I always bring up the whole illegal immigrants without due process. If Trump grabs any of us, I don't care if you're white, black, Hispanic, Asian, if Trump grabs you, if ICE grabs you, because Trump won't do it, but if ICE grabs you, and Trump goes on TV and says you're an illegal immigrant, MAGA's going to believe that. So, I mean, it's coming from Trump.
You got the perfect example. You got Johnny in here talking about nobody's above the law. He's down with whatever Trump said.
Wow.
The last thing I want to say before I go is the DOJ in May told Trump.
We talked about that. Yeah, we covered that.
Okay.
Yeah.
All over that paperwork. And they acting like they don't understand that he's potentially, allegedly, a pedo.
Yeah. And in regards to what you're talking about, that Pam Bondi told him he was on the list as far back as fucking May. He was asked about that, and 8 days ago, I was trying to find a clip, I don't know where it just happened to, but 8 days ago he said no, he wasn't told he was on the list. So Wall Street Journal just released that saying she told him back in May you on the list. And there's a video of him just saying the other day, no, she hasn't told me that. So he's lying about it. He's lying about it. It's the only way to look at it. That's your boy. I gotta move it on, then, Cal. Thank you very much.
All right.
All right, moving on to the program. I don't know what happened to my damn clip. I hate when clips disappear. Damn, YouTube took away my clip. I did want to play that, but nevertheless, we'll continue on until that clip comes back. Because his poll numbers are crashing, no one likes his policies or his big beautiful bill. That ain't true. I mean, his immigration policies are liked even by many people on the left. There are plenty of Trump's policies that people like. His policies of putting worker restrictions on Medicare and Medicaid. The big beautiful bill does have policies in it that some Americans like. MAGA likes. Now, we can argue whether or not when it starts to hit them, whether they'll still like them. Because I got a friend that's MAGA that lives in Indiana, and she said that she's losing her Section 8 because of Trump. And she has been living in the same place for quite a while and said, I might be homeless. And she voted for Trump. She lives in Indiana, a red state, and she was in tears. That's a Trump policy that's now potentially making her homeless. And she's disabled, so it ain't like she can go out and just find a job and, make up what they're taking away from her. I think she said she'll only have $100 left after paying rent. So, looking in the comments though, now I voted Trump, but you can't deny dude's mouth is his fatal flaw, says Chris. There's pros and cons to President Trump's mouth. The pro being is that it is great to have a president that'll go on TV and talk to the people every day, or as much as he does, which is almost every day. Obviously, they were claiming that Biden was hiding in his basement. Biden didn't talk to the people even a fraction as much as Trump. So that's a good thing. The negative thing is if you're going to go and talk to the people, you're going to have a whole lot of video footage of what you've said. And if you're saying things that are not true, the accountability factor is going to be sky high. And I don't think anybody can deny Trump says a lot of things that are either not true or at the very least suspect. I mean, he says a lot of wild shit that is unnecessary. So I guess I kind of believe you. I kind of agree with you. He says his mouth can be a fatal flaw because he does say a lot of very wild shit. Like right now, anytime he's being asked about Epstein, he's going back to Obama and Hillary Clinton in the 2016 election. He's calling the Epstein thing now a witch hunt. He said it's the real witch hunt. So if the information coming out on Epstein starts bend towards the possibility that Trump was with him at parties and shit like that, all of the times he's on TV calling it a witch hunt is going to come back to bite him because he's making it sound like it's a witch hunt now. So if anything comes out where he's starting to look like he might have been at least hanging around this dude more than he's letting on, then that means all of those witch hunt statements you made on TV are flat out lies. So yeah, when you go on TV and talk a lot, it can come back to bite you because he's always dropping quotes that can come up later on. Looking at the comments, okay, I'm going to a right-wing live. Got to put out their hypocrisy. Robert, have a seat. Stick around a little bit. You know, the most embarrassing president, says Jen Newman. I don't know. Biden on June 27th. That was pretty embarrassing as well. You seen the Democrats saying that Biden's cognitive abilities are fine and he could run a whole nother term. And he gets on TV to have a debate with Trump. And the bar was so fucking low. The bar to debate Trump was so low. All he had to do was come out and be coherent. That's it. Wasn't really going to change anybody's mind. MAGA was going to vote for Trump. The liberals and progressives were going to vote for Biden. All he had to do was come out and be coherent. That's how low the bar was for a U.S. president. And he failed that. So I don't know if I agree that that was pretty embarrassing as well. Now, I get that Trump has done a whole lot of embarrassing things as well. I get it. And I see what you're saying, Mr. Mobetta, so I'll leave it at that. Anyway, continuing on with the program. Yeah, but more Trump embarrassments than Biden. Okay, I'll bend to that. I'll concede to that, Jen. There's Democrats and Republicans and most of MAGA on the list, and we still want to see it because they should be held accountable. Doesn't matter what party they're in. And I appreciate that comment there, Aaron. What I don't understand before I go to the next caller is why would Trump pick people like Kash Patel and Dan Bongino to serve on his administration? I mean, these folks have their claim to fame, particularly Dan Bongino. He's all over social media, stoking up the Epstein conflict. That's the last guy you should want on your administration unless you've had to talk to him behind the scenes. And he's agreed that once he gets on your administration, he's willing to totally drop his pursuit of that. Why would you put that dude as your second in charge at the FBI after he's made all of that, all of those remarks about the Epstein list? That was a bad pick. That was a bad pick for President Trump. And I don't know what Trump's consistency is on the list, whether he's on the list or not. But the problem is, it's pretty clear he didn't want the list to be made public. He doesn't want people publicly talking about Epstein, as he tweeted out. Stop talking about Epstein. Then why would you put a guy on your administration that his whole claim to fame is talking about Epstein? That's the dude you want to give the #2 slot to the FBI? When you don't want to talk about Epstein, the guy who whole claim to fame is talking about this dude? That made no sense. Biden came out and cleared his throat and said, oh, McDonald. Okay, all right. Let me go back to the box. I see Jen says all his picks are bad. I don't know. You think all the Trump picks are bad? I mean, let me think. Is Marco Rubio really that bad of a pick? I mean, he was unanimously confirmed. I don't think Marco Rubio was that terrible, was he? Sapper 41st. Good evening. Welcome to the program. Completed the first stage of the club request. What the hell is that? Bring up Sapper. I don't know if it's bringing up my next guest. We'll give it a moment to reset. If not, which probably led to you going with Trump. I don't know what you're saying there. Or whatever. Apparently this is your first time watching the show. It must be, because some of the statements you're saying everybody knows are incorrect. Because he wants people who believe in him. Well, ain't nothing wrong with having people that believe in you, but it's a difference between belief. You ever see when you see these African-American photos or videos of police brutality and you find out the person actually was committing a crime, the person actually was a bad guy, but the mother is like, well, my son was a good old boy, he didn't do nothing. That's what some of the Trump administration are, where you can catch him dead to rights doing something wrong, and they're just like the mom, well, my son didn't do nothing, he was a good old... That ain't what you... Look, I'm okay with picking people that believe in you, but not folks that are going to blindly defend you no matter what you do. I mean, he is literally talking about deporting American citizens, and his administration is like, well, he's looking into whether it's legal or not. As if these motherfuckers don't know that it's illegal to deport an American. I mean, she literally said we're looking into seeing if it's legal or not. Let me try the next caller. MAGA Reacts, good evening or welcome to the program. What am I getting wrong?
A lot of things. Where do you want to start? Epstein, Colbert. Where do you want to start?
So you believe you don't think Trump had anything to do with Colbert losing his job?
No, look at all the other people. You keep saying Conan. Conan's been fired for like 5 years. He got fired like 3 times.
Okay, when we look at late
George
night.
Lopez. Let me finish. George Lopez off the air.
I didn't say nothing about
He's
Lopez.
Funny as fuck, and I still watch his clips till today off the air. Carson Daly, who used to come after Seth Meyers, off the air. Taylor Thompson, who replaced Carson Daly, off the air. Late night's fucking dying. And Stephen Colbert was never funny. I've never seen one episode of his show. His clips I watched them for cringiness more than laughter.
Well, you do lean right, MAGA reacts. Of course you're not going to find this shit funny. He's attacking Trump all the time. Is there anybody you find funny that attacks Trump?
With, what's his name, all the time.
Ooh.
Actually, that was the one funny clip when, what's his name from The Daily Show was on Colbert and called him out on the vaccine. I found that hilarious.
Yeah, you know what? You're talking about a clip, though. Is there any comedian that routinely criticizes Trump that you find funny?
I just said it. The guy from The Daily Show.
Trevor Noah?
What's up?
Trevor Noah?
No. I mean, I love Trevor Noah, but I love Trevor Noah, the comedian. I hated him on The Daily Show. Hold on. The one you keep saying should run for president.
Oh, you talking about Jon Stewart?
Yeah, Jon Stewart. I've always loved Jon Stewart.
Okay.
I was a huge fan of him. I mean, he's hilarious.
Well, here's why I disagree with you. First of all, the company that Paramount is merging with is owned by a close Trump associate. They didn't give Stephen Colbert any. Stephen Colbert is still ranking above Jimmy Fallon and.
That's the other thing you got wrong. Greg Gutfield is number one. He gets like 3.5.
I'm talking about the people that are on free TV, not cable.
That makes it even worse. That he's getting more views on cable than these guys getting on, a famous TV channel on a historic show like Late Night.
Well, I'm just simply saying that he's beating Fallon and he's beating Kimmel, and they're not getting rid of them.
Well, I don't know how much their shows cost. I know his show costs $100 million, and it's only making 40. Is the numbers everyone's using.
And you don't see the coincidence in right when this deal is happening is when they do this.
I mean, I do, but I think it's more the network trying to appease Trump than the other way around. Trump telling them to do anything, because I don't think fucking.
You think CBS would just try? You think CBS would just try to appease Trump out of the blue?
Yeah.
Why?
You guys giving Trump way too much credit. You act like he's like micromanaging all this like evil shit. He's only one guy. Wait.
He wants the Cleveland Guardians and the Washington Commanders to change their name back. You don't see no micromanaging in that?
That's just funny tweeting. I don't think it's micromanaging. No.
What's the difference between funny tweeting and what's the difference between funny tweeting and micromanaging?
He only tweets things that are on the news, so he's replying to something on the news. He's not going out of his way to call the people to make it happen. And then how do you know any of this? If it's on the news first, it's not micromanaging.
MAGA,
being on the news and not replying.
MAGA,
it's like us talking.
Hold on. The team responded to what he said, so it's not like he said something funny and the team came out and said they have no intention of doing this. You say it was just funny. Who would be laughing at going back to the Washington Redskins? Who finds that funny?
I told you I'm for that. I think that name has its own history separate from what it means, and he's throwing away 50 years of a team's legacy.
But why the hell would the president get involved in it?
Because he cares about these things. I mean,
he cares about the name of a football team?
Yeah, it was on the news for fucking months until they changed the name. I mean, it's not like it's something we never cared about. It's not like something he came up with on his own. This is shit we've been talking about for the last 10 years.
What happened to the notion of we don't favor big government getting involved in the private sector?
You said it best earlier. That's more conservatives. MAGA is not conservative, and you need to stop convoluting the two.
Okay.
Yeah.
So in other words, MAGA is okay with big government, bullying and boistering their way around.
Not necessarily, but it depends on the situation. And we everything is its own situation. And we have to weigh it. Weigh it.
Yeah, you're kind of confirming. You're confirming what I said is that we knew the principles of conservatives, and then when it comes to Trump, it's whatever he thinks. As you say, depends on the situation. So if the situation is something you want to do, you guys are cool and going with it. I mean, he is suddenly using his power to.
You got that backwards.
How is that backwards?
We consider our own shit. He considers his own shit, and a lot of the times we match. That's why we voted for him. But just because we agreed with what he says doesn't mean we're just following everything he says. I mean, the fucking Epstein situation is proving that's fucking not true, that we just follow everything
Is there anything else other than the Epstein situation that you guys are not following?
Attacking Iraq, I've been fucking listing a bunch of shit the last 10 times I've talked to you on here. Every time it was something else that I didn't agree with. So, yeah, a lot of shit right now. But guess what? It's still like the first quarter of the game, It's still the first year out of 4, so he still got at least till halftime to make up for all this bullshit.
I don't know how long. I don't know how long you wait on the Epstein thing because you're Andy. Appreciate that. I don't know how long you wait on the Epstein thing because you're talking about the fact that there could be folks who have violated the sexual innocence of kids that are not receiving justice because he's hiding the list.
But we don't know why he's hiding it. I mean, the other thing you just said, like, why did he hire this guy? Why did he hire this? Why were they always talking about releasing it and then all of a sudden it flipped? I think they had every intention to release it, and either there's something on there that they can't release or to release. It's one of those two. I don't know what
the guy tweeted out. The guy literally stated first that there is no list at all and told people to stop talking about Epstein. You believe that guy wanted to release the list?
Fuck yeah. Why are you looking at everything with, like, hindsight? Like, look
this
at
just
it
happened.
A year ago. Or for a month ago. There's nothing he did before 30 days ago that would make it seem suspicious that, like, nothing that he did before 30 days ago will hint that he was ever not going to release it. Like, nothing. Like,
well, how can you feel confident that he was going to release the list that he claimed did not exist? It's a Democratic hoax.
That's the problem. He claimed he was going to release it. He showed up and it all didn't exist. There was nothing to release. I mean, they did try to release something, but then they found out that what they thought they had was nothing. Like, when they first had that release party with all the influencers, I don't think they set that up to look stupid, but it turns out what they were releasing wasn't it. So they try to look more to see what the fuck is going on. Why is there... I think something happened in the last 30 days, maybe a little longer, to switch their position. And I don't know what that is, so we'll find out hopefully one day.
Do you really believe what you said?
Well, you just said it earlier. Like, he hired all these people that all wanted to release the list. They were talking about releasing the list nonstop up until like 30 days ago. And then something happened in the last 30 days where they changed their mind.
MAGA. He said that.
Am I crazy here?
Yeah. I mean, you straight up. Yeah, crazy enough to be committed. The man said it's a Democratic hoax. Where the hell would that come from? Just basically said the whole thing was made up by the Democrats. Just said that a few days ago. Where the hell would that come from? From a guy who, as you say, was going to originally plan on releasing the list. He went from planning on releasing the list to say, I'm just going to blame it on the Democrats and say it's a hoax. And you're trying to come up with some kind of way of saying that this makes sense?
I'm not saying it makes sense. I'm saying there's some piece that's missing to make it make sense.
Yeah, honesty. Yeah, the piece that's missing is fucking honesty. He's lying. That's what's missing is honesty.
There's such a thing as top secret, that he could be involved with Mossad and all this other shit people are saying. There's something that we don't know, and I don't know it, so I'm not going to judge until I know what that missing piece is.
Well, how about coming out and saying there are classified things we to just say it's a hoax is a lie. I don't think even MAGA is a hoax. I think everybody believes that's a lie.
Yeah, we agree. Listen, everything that he said the last 30 days, we're kind of in agreement here. It's a lot of bullshit. He's trying to cover up. But before that, everything he said before that was, I'm going to release it. I mean, why did he keep talking about releasing it after he got elected?
Andy,
you know, it's not like he switched. Like, it's not like he got elected and he never spoke of it again.
I want you to talk to him.
Doing now, he is playing in your face just like he's doing now. Because we all know that Donald Trump was friends with him. Stop talking. Stop talking. Because he thought he could control them. That's why you hire sycophants and yes men. Now, with that being said, we know that Donald Trump was friends with this man for over 17 years. And what came out this week is we now know his wife was friends with him. His wife was in the car with Ghislaine while she was picking up girls. We know that now, too. The girls came out 15 years ago and said that he should be investigated. What do you think of that one? They pressed them to investigate him, and they still didn't. And now, with all that being said, even the sugar guy, you know, when Donald Trump said, oh, Coke's going to go to sugar. Find out Trump removed sanctions of a sugar farm in Haiti that was using forced labor, and they haven't stopped. But the one thing they have in common, too, is Pepe Fajul is also on that fucking list. Everywhere we look with Donald Trump, there's somebody on the list. That card that he said he didn't write, now there's all this evidence from other people that he drew all kind of things. How much circumstantial evidence do you really need to prove that he's there? Because realistically, the FBI agents came out this week and they said that they've been going through those files, marking the pages with his name.
I heard that.
Now, that was three different FBI agents. Now, on top of that, Pam Bondi just came out and said she told them in May. That was today.
I heard that too.
How dumb do you gotta be to believe Donald ain't on that list?
MAGA?
I'm pretty sure he's not on that list. I'm like 99%.
Let me ask you this, MAGA. Now you give me
25 sexual abusers on his like Wikipedia page, and not a single one of them was underage. And before like his Epstein, no one's ever claimed.
How do you know?
He abused.
You don't know when that happened. You don't know when they made the claim. You do not know when they made the claim.
Look, you have a single person.
Then why was Donald Trump on Howard Stern saying he doesn't have an age limit? He said, I won't go down to 12 like some congressperson, but he pretty much left it open for the rest of the teenage years. Donald Trump himself said that on Howard Stern.
I've never heard that. I've never heard that.
That was this week, too. That came out, too. Old footage.
Jesus.
We have Donald Trump saying all these horrible things for years. Even saying Jeffrey was a good man. Explain something to me. If Jeffrey and him were friends for 17 years, why didn't he turn Jeffrey in?
We didn't. Nobody knew back then. Are you kidding me?
They knew. Let me ask you.
Donald Trump even said
Hold on. Let me ask you this.
Said, Jeffrey likes good-looking women. He even likes them on the younger side. Trump said that out of his own mouth.
Yeah. Let me ask you this. Now you said you believe there's a 99% chance that Trump is on the list. Let me ask you in terms of,
I don't think he's on the list.
You said 99% chance he's not on the list.
What are we talking about when we say on the list? Like, 99% chance that he's never raped an underage child or essayed an underage child.
You put it at 90. You put it at 99%.
What do you mean by the list?
You put it at 99% that he hasn't done it with all that circumstantial shit around him. You feel that confident?
100%. 199, almost 100%.
I mean, the guy literally looked at a.
But tell me about the court case with the girl named Katie that I can't say her last name, who was 13 years old and accused him. Explain that one.
I tried to look it up, every single accuser. I don't know about that case. How about you send me the info and I'll look at it and I'll weigh the fucking evidence and see if it's true or not.
10%.
You can't determine if it's true. You don't have the evidence. No, stop. You all keep thinking you can determine whether these women told the truth. You cannot. You cannot determine until they heard the damn story. So for you to sit here and think that for some reason you are qualified to determine whether these women were assaulted is fucking crazy.
And that goes both ways. That goes both ways. I can't determine if she was assaulted. I can't determine that she wasn't, and you can't determine either unless you have a fucking time machine. Which you Democrats all talk like you have a time machine. Seen all this shit personally.
Well, no, we're just giving you the years of evidence, the mountain of evidence from where, like I said, Donald Trump's already said Jeffrey likes women on the younger side. No. But he said it. Why didn't he turn him in? You can't say the man was his. Jeffrey Epstein's got tapes that was made with the author Wolf, where he talks about how Trump was literally his best friend. Steve Bannon has 16 hours of tape with Jeffrey that he won't release for ungodly reason. He even said he was going to make a documentary about the dangers in America. But did he? Nope. He held on to that tape too. Why are all these people holding all this evidence to protect this man?
I don't know. Hopefully one day we'll find out. Hopefully it pisses them off and we'll
Because
find
they're
out.
all
One of us is
guilty.
proven true and the other one can shut the fuck up. I'm happy either of us being proven true.
Why don't you go ahead and start shutting the fuck up now?
I'll shut the fuck up if you shut the fuck up. We can move on and talk about something.
To prove what I say.
Well, MAGA, I gotta go ahead and.
Clearest circumstantial evidence ever. This guy was friends with him back in the 80s, and you don't know.
We're friends for 17 years. 17 years. Like they said that he was his very best friend.
He's been alive for 87 years. Trump has, or is it 78? I forget. And
He's 79.
Trump's word for it that they quit being friends because in the interview with Wolf, Epstein's talking about what was going on in Trump's White House in 2017. That don't sound like they're not friends anymore, dude.
Well, wasn't Trump the one that prosecuted him and put him in jail finally? So why would you do that?
That would have been Bush. And Bush administration, even the Bush administration dropped the ball because there was a federal case. And they have no idea why the federal case didn't go through because there was mountains of evidence. But Alex Acosta, who turned around and made the Trump case only a state case, and Jeffrey only had to have two things. Stop. Yes. No, stop. You're not listening. Shut up. After Alex Acosta gave Jeffrey the sweetheart deal, guess what Trump did? He gave Alex Acosta a cabinet position.
How are those two things related? Explain to me how are those two things related?
He's rewarding people.
The federal case go away if you don't give Jeffrey but a couple of things for the state case, and I'll rub your back and give you a cabinet position. What do you mean? How does that work?
To rewrite history. That guy Acosta was picked because he was a fucking.
It's not rewrite history. It's what happened. Alex
you're rewriting it to say it happened because of Epstein, not because it happened on his own. And he happened to be the same guy that fucking.
How does he know Alex Acosta?
Because he's a fucking huge political figure in Florida.
But I thought Donald Trump wasn't a political figure. I thought Donald Trump wasn't a politician.
And if he liked Acosta so much, why was it fucking the VP Pence that was there on the day Acosta got inaugurated? Why didn't fucking
Well, it's
Trump
bad
announce
enough
it
they have
himself?
Acosta a cabinet position at all because he already looks guilty. Little one.
In my opinion,
There's no dots to connect.
Okay, I'm gonna have to move it on, but I'm amazed at how much you're dismissing there, MAGA. I am. I'm not saying that 99% is exceptionally high. 99% means it almost is guaranteed he's done nothing wrong, despite all this circumstantial shit orbiting around him. 99%.
How many of you in the chat don't think that the dots I put together connect, unlike like MAGA? How many of you don't think?
All right, MAGA reacts. I'm gonna go ahead and drop you. We'll talk about it in the future, but 99%, Andy. That's a lot.
I do not know what is wrong with these people. Anybody else, like they're trying to put Obama underneath the jail for less evidence than I just gave him.
Yeah.
I mean, they can hear, like, they could watch the videos probably and make an excuse for it. Well, you had damn Gen X in here goes, well, if I see the video of it, yeah, you're asking to see video of a crime that watching it is even a crime.
Yeah, and I will say that. Now, I was going to ask MAGA that, but his time had went on. But I was going to ask him that. I do believe that when it comes to Trump and this Epstein stuff, Trump is in a really good position because. As I asked Gen X that you're bringing about the other day, I asked him if, let's say Trump had actually committed a felony, who could tell you and you would actually believe it? And for the most part, most MAGA is not going to believe anyone that tells them Trump did something wrong. I don't care if it's I don't care if it is J.D. Vance or Marco Rubio. If Trump is saying he didn't do it, and he's saying that J.D. or he's saying that Marco got swallowed up by the deep state, and they're trying to take down this great administration we have, I don't know anybody that could tell MAGA Trump did something wrong. And I'm not even saying he did anything wrong right now. I'm saying he's in a unique position where he cannot do anything wrong. Because they're not going to believe the FBI, they're not going to believe the CIA, they're not going to believe folks like Tulsi Gabbard or any of them. If Trump is saying he didn't do it, they're going to believe he didn't do it. So other than what you're talking about where Gen X said, it has to actually be video evidence of him actually banging a kid before I'll take it. The video evidence doesn't exist, so that means no witness is going to satisfy me. It has to be video evidence. That's the only thing I'll take.
Thousands of hours of tape that the FBI has that they're not talking about. Matter of fact, why is it the FBI releasing that? Because they don't really need the judge to release it. They have all the stuff from the federal case that they didn't do. Why aren't we releasing that?
Well, he's in control of the FBI, Andy, so I don't know what avenues exist, and I'm not certain if he serves out his full term, that evidence will still exist. I mean, because, look, regardless of what...
When they came by to talk to him about the book, where he had all the Jeffrey interviews, Jeffrey showed him pictures, and the FBI took those pictures. And some of those pictures had Trump with half-dressed women with no top on. So, and for those of you who say Trump hadn't been to the island, he doesn't need to go. He lived within 2 miles of Epstein's residence on the beach. Not only that, he also lived within a few miles of his house in New York. So, I mean, let's quit playing, y'all. And thanks for having me, Tim.
All right, Andy. Appreciate the updates.
By the way, for those of you that don't know, changing the Washington's name, that's fucking racist. Y'all quit.
All right. Appreciate it, Andy. She's referring to changing the name back to the Redskins. Guess what says I am hungry? Andy, go make me a sandwich. Well, she's gone now. And Yoshi, I apologize for the late response. You're saying it's a Mossad CIA honeypot job. It'll be out in 30 years. You're saying that in 30 years from now it'll be out that Epstein was working with the Mossad. There are people that have said that. I don't know. I'll just say this. I don't know what the hell's going on with Epstein, other than it's pretty clear Trump doesn't want you to know everything. I don't think that's up for debate. Now, you heard MAGA suggest that there's a 99% chance Trump hasn't done anything wrong to anybody underage. I don't buy into that. But I think everybody, including him, admitted that Trump is not being forthcoming when it comes to Epstein. I mean, he's really changed his stance on this so much that it's impossible to explain it all. I mean, because he went from he's going to release the list all the way to it's a Democratic hoax and the list doesn't exist, to now he is ordering his administration to release some of the files. He's all over the place. So it's pretty clear, and not to mention his post of saying stop talking about Epstein with 3 exclamation points against it. So it's pretty clear that he does not want the public to know everything about this, leading to the obvious question, why are you trying to hide it so much? Well, I'm trying to protect the innocent, or, we don't know, but even if you're trying to protect the innocent, that doesn't justify lying and saying it's a Democratic hoax. Just come out and say that you're trying to protect the innocent. I mean, the Democratic hoax part, even folks who absolutely hate Democrats, they're not buying that. That's just a flat out lie. So I don't know where to go with it, but I will say that the guy is winning because, in my opinion, and I'll go to the next caller real quick in the comments, but in my opinion, I don't think it fucking matters. I don't think it fucking matters at all. I think that if Trump is on the list and there's evidence that makes it fairly obvious that he participated in some of the Epstein activities, look, they're not going to vote for a liberal. If Trump abused some kids, that's not going to make Kamala Harris or Joe Biden look more enticing. So it's not going to really affect MAGA at all, in my opinion. Yeah, the guy, maybe he's slipped, or maybe he got drugged by the deep state during a moment of weakness or some shit. I mean, there's a million ways you can go with it to protect Trump. And as I just stated, the overwhelming majority of MAGA is not going to believe the information coming from anybody. So unless it's actual believable video footage of Trump in the process of abusing a kid, there's nobody that can tell them that they're going to believe. So I don't see any way for Trump not to come out of this as an innocent man in the eyes of MAGA. I mean, it just had a caller on that says there's a 99% chance Trump hasn't done anything wrong. despite, as Andy, my other caller, was alluding to, there's a mountain, literally a mountain of circumstantial evidence floating around Trump that would at least give you questionable it would lead you to have a questionable conversation about why is this guy constantly talking about young kids, whether it's his daughter, the girl on the escalator. There's evidence going back years that this guy had some sort of attraction to younger people. But yet, there's a 99% chance he never did this. So, like I said, it doesn't matter what comes out. I don't believe it's going to make a difference with MAGA. You're not going to probably see video footage of Trump involved in the act. This is not an R. Kelly PP tape or something like, well, he was supposed to be the PP tape too. You're not going to get video footage of it. And if you don't believe any eyewitness testimony at all, no matter who tells you, how can he possibly be deemed as a guilty person? Looking in the comments though, where have all the Trumpstein MAGA Pete's gone? What is a Trumpstein MAGA Pete? There is a crossover from the list to national security info and further investigation in my guess. Well, like I said, it doesn't matter what is going on with the Epstein list. Nothing justifies lying and saying it's a Democratic hoax. If there's classified information on there that you don't want the public to get their hands on because it may represent a threat to the United States, or you don't want innocent people to be harmed, calling it a Democratic hoax none of that justifies lying and blaming it on the Democrats. None of that does. So his credibility on this should be shot. But because MAGA is in the camp with Trump, no matter what, it doesn't matter. He's clearly told some pretty big lies on this. There's no way everything he said in regards to Epstein can be true because it's varied so much. There's nothing that would justify him calling it a Democratic hoax at this point, even if it is classified information. Anyway, looking at the comments before we go to the next caller, remember, Tim, all the pedos get the escapism. Ooh, I hope not. Trump known for sex trafficking, pedophile. He's not known for that. Democrats spent so much time going after Trump, but they don't show accountability for their side of the crap they've done. Florida Blondie, I'm not going to disagree with you, but that doesn't save Trump. Anytime something that Trump has done questionable or corrupt, or somebody wants to bringing up other people that do the same thing or worse does not defend Trump. When do we get to the point where you say Trump didn't do that? Biden did it too. Obama was doing it. No. When do we get to the point where we can say, no, Trump is above all that. He didn't do that. That's the shit you Democrats do. Trump would never do this. Now, we're constantly bringing up other people that you view during their time as shady and corrupt as somehow a defense for Trump. Where is the part where we say, no, Trump did not do that? Why can't we just hear that part? He didn't do it, as opposed to trying to tie him to other people that did the same shit. Looking at the comments, if he was on the list, why would he risk all of this? What is he risking? What is he risking? Like I just stated, MAGA, it's not going to affect MAGA at all. And MAGA is in power right now. Most of the folk, in my opinion, the overwhelming majority of folks on the congressional, the Senate, Congress, and his administration, they riding with Trump no matter what. He is literally talking about deporting American citizens, and you're not really hearing any complaints from MAGA at all. That is about as unconstitutional as they come. MAGA's not saying shit about that. My guess is if Trump is on the list, there might be a few people that bitch and complain. But for the most part, he will survive it. He will survive it. Gangsta Grandma. No fluffing, right? No fluffing, right?
I cannot stand you. I cannot.
What the fuck did I do today?
You old ass, fluffy ass mofo, you. Over here, you will. Oh my God. Let me tell you something. I can't stand Jeremy with his bald-headed looking ass with a $15.
Hold that note. Look. Gangster, hold on. I want to have a conversation with you that does not feature you attacking people. Have you ever tried to do that?
No, they ain't attacking. No. Ooh, no. See, yesterday they was attacking me, saying that I'm a white tea woman and I'm on welfare and stuff. Well, guess what, boogies? Take your fucking asses on my page.
Okay.
No, bitch. No. No.
Okay, now can we have what might be referred to as a civilized conversation about the issues?
Hey, as long I can talk to, I know I can have a civilized conversation with you. But no, not the maggots. The maggots are letting this motherfucker do. Look at them. Look at him. They're still justifying it. That motherfucker is on the pedo list. He's in it. Everything is in it. Everything. What the fuck are you talking about? Oh no, he's not in 99.9%. He's not. The bitch is in it.
You're calling the president of the United States a bitch.
He's a pedo and a bitch. And he'll kiss my black ass too. And I tell you, if the motherfucker's drowning and my dad and my allies who's in there, I'll be picking my damn allies. Get me the fuck out of here.
Why
Get the fuck. I would never, ever. I would go kiss a pedo each fucking damn day. And these little motherfuckers I go kissing his ass. Oh, they love sticking his thing, don't they? Yeah. What the fuck?
Why do you hate this man so much?
He's a pedo, for God's sake.
And I see your comment, Cosmo says, breaking news, Trump is confirmed on the Epstein list. Yeah, Pam Bondi said, apparently she told him that back in May, and he lied about it.
In May, and they're still kissing his fucking ass. Oh, no, he can't be. Oh, no, not the orange Jesus. Not the orange Jesus. And they said us Democrat asses are fucking that shit. Get the fuck out of here.
Let me just hold on. Let me interject and say this, because when I was talking to MAGA Reacts, we were talking about this. Now, when Trump recently said stop talking about Epstein, that was after May. So it's pretty clear that Pam Bondi advised him he's on the list. And then later on, after being told he was on the list, he's telling everybody to stop talking about Epstein. If that does not give you... Go ahead.
That tells you right there. That tells you. That tells you why the fuck that white piece of trash is on it. He's acting little girls, and they don't give a fuck. Yeah. You know why? Because all the fucking shit inbred. They don't know who the pappy is. They don't know the mother is the fucking sister. You know what I'm saying? That's why they like the asses, inbred motherfuckers.
Okay, well, I'm not going to go down the inbred route, but it's pretty clear when he said...
No. I told your ass. Did I not? I said, go Google the shit. And you said, oh my God, you are trying to choose. Right there.
Well, but I mean, but that is a hell of a wake-up call when we have to realize that when Trump was telling everybody to stop talking about Epstein, he had been advised he's on a list. If that doesn't fall under the category of a cover-up, I don't know what is.
It is a big cover-up because they don't want, because when they do it, what's he gonna say? But you know what? The little maggots are gonna still ride his little dingling.
Do you think
they're still gonna go with him? They're still gonna do it.
So do you agree So do you agree with me when I say that I don't think him being on the list or not will make a difference at all with MAGA?
Yeah, they're not, because that's what they are. They're inbred motherfuckers. They would do it their damn selves. The people that's standing with him now, they're doing it to their damn selves. And I would not have no kids around none of the maggots. None of them. Because I know I voted that. I would never do it, but if I voted for that slime ball, I'd be going the fuck off.
Well, there are reasons they voted for him that they thought was good for the country.
I'm so sick of you saying, there's reasons. There ain't no fucking reason to you going after a fucking pedo.
Well, wait a minute. But wait a minute. In 2024, they had no reason to believe Trump was a pedo.
They knew it.
No, they didn't.
This isn't new.
No, I think...
They convicted that dude.
No, the reason why I'm saying that... No, Gangsta, the reason why I'm saying that is back in last year, it looked like the Democrats were hiding this list, and if you voted in Trump, he would be the one that would be transparent and release it. They had no reason this time last year to think this much about Trump because they truly believed that if Trump got in there, he would let everybody know what was really going on. Now that since he's gotten in there and he's hiding everything, it's a different story.
Oh my God! Oh my! You know what? I'm so sick of the bluffing. You are a black man. You know deep down, this motherfucker's racist. He just said it. He just said I already told you guys. He's coming after the black people next. He said it. He's saying it again. Okay? And everybody's like, oh no, you don't go after the worst of the worst. He went and he's going after everybody. All the brown people. If you have a green card, if you're here legally, he's still going after your fucking ass. Even if you are a so-called citizen, he's coming for your ass. You know what I mean? Now he's gonna come for us next.
So you do believe that an American that's born and raised in this country, or black man that's born and raised in this country, should be concerned that Trump may come after them to deport them?
You know what? If they're doing it to the brown people, what the fuck you think you're fucking? You think you're safe? Hell, fucking no, you're not. They don't like us. And then what makes it the sickness of all the house ninjas that fucking voted for him.
I got
that likes that you like to go flushing with. I like to go in their lives.
Why? I don't sound like that.
Oh yes, you do. You are the biggest fluffer ever.
No, I enjoy talking to MAGA. I've made it clear. I enjoy talking to MAGA. I enjoy talking to...
Why? Well, man, why the fuck do you like talking to the fucking enemy that don't give two fucks about you? Don't get if they ain't gonna hang your damn ass, because you know what? They'll be right there fucking narking you out. The fucking little rats.
Just because somebody has an opposing political opinion, that doesn't make them always the enemy.
Are you fucking... Are you that... Oh, Lord.
I'm asking. I mean, so you believe that everybody that has an opposing... Hold on. You believe that everyone that has an opposing political opinion to you is the enemy?
Hey, have you seen this, what this white man doing to us? Do you see what they're doing? Do you think that motherfucker's not our enemy? Do you feel safe in this damn country? He will put you in a tree. He will beat you.
What is making you think that Trump would be capable of lynching minorities?
Are you fucking...
I'm asking.
I need to smoke a blunt fucking with you. I can't. I really...
You're making strong statements. I'm going to question you on this stuff.
Look what he's doing right now with the undocumented. Look what they're doing.
He's not...
They just brought 10 United States citizens back.
He's not killing people, Andy. I mean, Gangster, I'm reading Andy's comment. He's not killing people, though. You're making it sound like he's going to kill people.
No, he's just saying up to other countries to unalive them, right? Get the fuck out of here. You know what? Let me tell you, that's why I cannot stand your fucking little fucky looking ass, because you be fluffing too damn much. You know what you are? You're the biggest fluffer ever.
This is not fluffing. This is questioning your opinion.
You are fluffing because you know what, Matt? Because you are undercover maggot. Yes, you is. I know you is. If that motherfucker came out today and said, I'm gonna do something special for little Timmy. Oh my God, he'll be on board. Yes.
What the fuck? What the fuck are you talking about?
I know, I be fucking with you all the damn time. I be fucking with you. And you get all piggy-hearted. You come and you try to get me, but see, you push back on my fucking fat ass, but you won't push back on the fucking racists that ain't the damn thing that you are talking to, like Jeremy. You see what the fuck he was saying? You see what racist, say racist? Get the fuck out of here. You know why? Because a white man, he doesn't even know what a fucking racist is then, huh?
What if Jeremy was racist?
I said, okay, oh my God.
I mean, you're throwing out wild shit. Gangsta Grandma, you throwing out wild statements.
Jeremy is a racist. Like he said, like Jeremy's been a racist. He even told you to your fucking face. Well, through the TikTok, he even said it. If Trump was a racist, he'll still vote for his ass. Yeah, he's a racist. And then he'll say, no, it's not racist. It's just what is it called? Rich versus the poor. No, it's racist. What Trump is doing is racist. What he's doing is, and I can't. But you know, white man would never fucking know about beating a black man's shoes or anything, because you know why? He damn it said it. Oh, he won't come after the black folks. They already are with Haitians. You can't tell one black folk from another black folk. You can't tell from an immigrant or a non-immigrant. You can't tell from a Haitian to an African American.
But what about the notion? What about the notion that Jeremy, I believe it was Jeremy, made that the courts would never allow him to just randomly deport African Americans?
Really? When the court is on his side, the court just gave him immunity. Why do you think he's doing all this shit? He's just pushing it. He don't give a fuck about our Constitution. He don't give a fuck about the poor people that are taking their what? Their Medicaid away. They're what? They're taking food stamps. They're taking Social Security. He don't give a fuck about them.
Well, wait, hold on. While you're ragging on him, did you know that he just got the Japanese to agree to? Hold on, hear me out, but hear me because folks are listening. Hold on, no, wait a minute. You got to let me speak because other folks may not know this. This is for the audience. Did you not know that he just got the Japanese government to commit to investing $550 billion in the U.S. government? We're going to now be allowed to put U.S. autos on the streets of Japan, send rice over there. I mean, it's not a great economic victory for Trump. Do you at least give him credit for that?
No, because you know why? He still got the 50% tariff on fucking steel, dipshit, from them. So how does that fucking win? How is it? We're still gonna pay for it. How's that gonna fucking win? Huh?
500 and...
You know what? And it's not even a steel deal. It's not even a steel deal yet. You know, he be talking so much mad shit. See, that's what I'm telling you. You're a coon-eater. Shit, you're not.
I'm a what?
You be all... Yeah, you heard what I said.
A coon-eater? What the fuck is that?
Yeah. Well, if you don't know what that is, I can't say the real shit.
You making up shit? No, wait, hold on. You don't...
Don't get much. Shit, you not. I thought I was fucking blunt with you. Fucking with you. I can't. Because you be saying, well, how about this? But you would never push back. You would never push back on the MAGA. The two little fucking little twits that you wouldn't even add me on. Because you know. Bitch.
You don't think there's it. You don't think that it's worthy of giving the guy at least some praise for getting the Japanese government to commit over $500 billion to investing in our government? That ain't a good thing.
No. Because you know why? It's not going to happen. Because you know what? Where's that? Japanese hasn't said shit about it. Japanese has not said shit about it. And guess what? We still got tariffs. And guess what? Tariffs are coming in on us on the 1st. And guess what? It's going to hurt all of our asses. Beef is going to go up to over 17 fucking percent. Beef is. You know why? Because we get a lot of beef from Brazil.
How do you respond to folks who suggest you're not going to give Trump credit for anything? He could cure cancer and you wouldn't give him credit for it.
I'll give him credit when he goes to the light. Hallelujah.
Did you say you will give him credit when he goes to the light?
Yep.
All right, I gotta move.
Let me tell you something. The tariffs are going to hit us bad, okay? It is. Okay, they already doing all the Medicaid shit and stuff, and I already get called like all you little racist little bitches in the thing. Always should call me a welfare creep, but bitch, if you go in my fucking damn house and can't take your black ass on my thing, you'll see there's a welfare queen driving Mercedes Benz, fuck it up, and go look at my thing. That right there, and I'll be proud of it. I'm a Section 8 house right there. Okay, I rock a Section 8 house.
Gangsta grandma.
Well, let me tell you one more thing, I promise. You know what? I come hard on you because I want you to really see. Quit being so fucking nice to our enemies. Cut this shit out. Because they won't do it to us. And look at it. They over here, they even said, they don't even believe that he will do that to us, that he will ship us out. You know why? Because they're drinking too much of the fucking Kool-Aid. And they won't even believe you. They don't. They think you're just stupid, thinking that he's a pedophile. And you know he is. He's all on the fucking list. His own people have told him that. I'll
leave it at that. Gangsta, thank you for coming through. Enjoy that blunt, that spliff. Thank you. All right, moving on with the program. Wow. Has teeth. She only missing the front. What are you talking about there, Roman Erecos? The woman has her teeth. Wow. Deport all illegals. Well, the problem is the observer melanin is that there's belief that Trump is deporting a whole lot of people that are not illegals. Up to and including folks are suggesting now that he is a risk to deporting black people. I had somebody ask me that earlier, which is what this whole live is about, is that do you think that once the illegals are gone, Trump will start deporting black people? It caught me by surprise. That comment threw me off guard. I was driving when I had seen it, and it kind of made me stop. And I mean, it hit home. Like, man, is he really gonna do something that wow? And I'm at the crossroads of I don't feel confident saying Trump would do something that crazy, but I also don't feel confident saying he won't do it. That's the problem. I mean, Trump, when he's literally talking about sending homegrown criminals to El Salvador, which is something that is 100% unconstitutional, I can't say I feel confident saying he wouldn't do this. Because we're going from that to him lying and saying the Epstein list is a Democratic hoax. He is doing things that are worthy of taking note as opposed to saying, well, he would never do nothing that crazy. Is there anyone in here, I'm talking particularly to my beloved MAGA on this question. I'm going to ask you folks, my beloved MAGA, who would have voted for Trump, my Trump supporters, in addition to MAGA. Is there any of you that a year ago would have thought that Trump would be saying a list didn't exist and to stop talking about Epstein and it's a Democratic hoax? Is there any of you that thought that Biden and the Democrats were hiding that list, that believed that if you put Trump in, he's going to continue hiding it? Is there any MAGA that believe he would do something like that? And that his own attorney general would advise him that he indeed is on the list? Is there any MAGA that thought that that would happen? So he is doing some things that are well off outside of what the norm is. So when folks say, well, he may start deporting black people, I don't feel confident saying, well, no, there's no way he would do it, because you would have thought he would not have played the games he's playing with Epstein. And look what's happening. Sherbert, good evening. Welcome to the program.
How's it going, Tim?
I don't even know. Gangsta Grandma always resets me. She don't.
You did bring her on after Reacts, and Reacts is a total douchebag. So.
Oh, Reacts.
Of course, you're going to get extra yelled at after you bring him on.
I bring Gangsta Grandma on first, and she gonna come. She bring it no matter what order she's in.
Fair. She always goes after you. She's not entirely wrong. She just comes up for you.
What am I doing wrong today? I mean, I'm questioning what needs to be questioned. What are we doing wrong today? The guy got the Japanese government to commit to invest in $500 billion in America. Is that not something that Trump should receive praise for?
Well, let's see, the factor is, I don't think it's true. He can do as many press releases as he wants about the investments he's bringing in, but until something's built, do you remember the Foxconn thing during his first administration?
And they never, it was supposed to happen.
Photos with the golden shovel and everything.
Yep.
And then they didn't even break ground, even though this celebration was him breaking ground.
Yeah, that kind of reminds me of folks holding up the binders talking about the Epstein files are in them. Yeah, he does celebrate. Yeah, he does celebrate a lot of shit that doesn't pan out. I agree with that part.
I mean, that's most things for Trump. He's a showman, but he doesn't actually want to do the right thing. If it means he'll have immediate, what's that, mind game where I'll give you, 3 quarters now, or I'll give you a quarter now and 2 quarters tomorrow and 3 quarters the next day, or double it every day.
I don't know
double it the next time.
Yeah, I don't know that game, but I do remember the phrase, if you give me $2 today or give me a hamburger today, I'll gladly pay you on Tuesday, from Wimpy on Popeye. I do remember that. That's what it sounds like you're talking about. If you buy me a cheeseburger today, I'll gladly give you $2. Go ahead.
There's a psychological game where if you delay gratification and then the numbers exponentially grow, if you just follow the chain of logic there on what will happen in 20 days versus right now. And Trump will never pick what's in 20 days because he can only think about what's right now.
But do you agree? I mean, now MAGA React says there's a 99% chance Trump would never have been on the list or abused children. What do you put it at? And I'm assuming you wouldn't get Trump as high as a 99%, and neither would I. But the idea that Trump may have taken the sexual innocence of an underage minor, and for you folks watching as well, what percentage of a chance would you say that Trump has done that? From 0 to 100, potentially abused the sexual innocence of a minor. How many? What percentage chance you think that Trump would have done something like that, Sherbert?
I mean, I would have given it like 80% chance before, and then he did that. There is no list. Stop talking about it, and that put it up to 99. So I'm complete inverse of MAGA Reacts.
Yeah.
Did you hear Stephen King's quote today?
No. What did he say?
He did like the same thing of, there is no list. Stop talking about it. Out of nowhere. And so it's pretty damn clear Stephen King's is probably on the list.
you can't. It's put up a post saying fuck Nazis, and whoever puts in your comments, hey, that's not cool. There's the Nazi. Like, you can't say, hey, out of nowhere when you have not been part of the conversation and emphatically say, there's no list, total hoax, don't believe it.
Yeah, and I think
you're probably on there.
Yeah, but the crazy thing is, I'm amazed at how little this has really affected MAGA. Yeah, they want the list, but I mean, there's a few people speaking out, but he really isn't losing a lot of MAGA support despite obvious dishonesty with this. He's made so many statements in regards to this list. Even for the most savvy Trump supporter who brings up taken out of context or you're not catching a joke, what MAGA Reacts does. He's went so far all over the place. There's no way to connect it to make it make sense. I see in the comments, and thank you, Moran. Moran says Trump will probably eat a Big Mac next, and then he will probably go home and then maybe do some golfing. So he's basically saying kind of what we're talking about. It ain't gonna really affect the guy at all. I mean, and I'm going to say I don't think it will affect him at all, Sherry. Do you think this will really affect Trump at all?
I really wish it would affect him more than it probably will affect him. I think he is actually the spawn of Satan and the Antichrist.
Damn.
And MAGA Reacts will never, never, never say that is at all even 1% true, because he's fallen for the cult. Even in my most, I love Democrats days, I'd never say that Joe Biden wasn't a little creepy when he was sniffing girls' hair. But I am totally willing to say if anybody is on that list, get rid of them. I don't care what they do. But if Reacts is willing to say there is 0% chance when his best friend got, convicted of that shit, well, I'm going to be looking at his best friends. And if you can't see that and give it more than a 1% chance, you're hopeless.
Well, why don't you talk about...
until the end of his... He's going to wait till the end of his second administration and go, well, he's still got 2 more months. We can't judge him until we hit the end of his administration.
I can see that happening. But while you're talking about percentages... Creed is saying, so the caller, referring to you, so the caller is saying it's a 99% chance Trump is guilty and that's okay. So he is saying that there should be more pushback because you're making it sound like it's almost guaranteed that Trump abused the innocent. And by the way, Creed, I would like to see what your number is, but he is saying because you're basically saying it's almost guaranteed Trump has did this.
Yeah, you can't have, so it comes down to he's always on camera. He can't shut up. He can't not have attention. And because he's shown his ass from literally every degree and in 4K, you can look at his past statements to judge a person. Now, of course, things change, but when you've kept the exact same thing and said, I wish Ghislaine Maxwell the best of luck during her child molestation case, you're probably on the list. It's really not that crazy, especially when the people who said they were the victims said, yeah, Trump was there, Trump was doing shit. I'm going to believe the victims. I'm sorry that I'm not a pretzel and I actually stand on 10 toes, but he's probably on there.
Well, that's
I don't see any logical way he's not.
Well, that's kind of the point I made, is that I think Trump is in a unique position where MAGA's not going to believe anybody that gives testimony unless it's actual video footage of Trump in the process of abusing a kid. There is not an eyewitness alive that MAGA will take over Trump. If Trump is saying I didn't do it, and any eyewitness you put in the blanks from Ghislaine Maxwell on down to Rubio or J.D. Vance, they're going to pick Trump over any of those people. So Trump is in a unique position where he cannot be found guilty in the eyes of MAGA. They're just not going to accept anybody's word. FBI, NSA, none of the intelligence agencies, they're not going to believe any of them over President Trump.
Isn't that sad, though? Isn't that sad that so this is also my problem with religion as a general whole. I don't trust anyone 100%. And if somebody's up on at the front of the chapel speaking a bunch of stories, I'm still going to use my morals and my logic to figure out what that story means. I don't trust the religion because they're usually not in good faith. They're usually trying to hide and make their shit look the best. Trump is straight up evil. He puts everything in his own logic, in his own best faith. They're not going to believe anything other than him, and it's so dumb. believe the evidence, believe someone's character. But when they think his character is still godly, even though he's the devil, they might be retarded.
Well, they're not going to say his character is godly. The problem is anybody.
No. They've said he's godly. They said he was brought by God.
I have had somebody tell me that at Trump. I was at a Trump rally and I did have somebody. Somebody looked me. I had a guy look me right in the face and say that Trump was sent here by God. It caught me off guard, but yeah, I was at a Trump rally, so I have heard somebody say that. I don't know if all MAGA thinks that though. I don't think most MAGA thinks that he's godly.
I'm gonna go with probably about half, with how much they can't not suck his nuts while also being pulled down their throats.
Who sucks nuts? Damn, where you find that at?
All these Trump sexuals. I mean, MAGA Reacts is 100% a Trump sexual because he turns his throat into a pretzel to fit all of Trump's dick in there.
I don't have a response to that.
Yeah, you don't, because you know it's true.
I don't have a response for that.
Crap.
I do. You worse than Gangsta Grandma with that shit. I don't have a response for that. Wow.
I just say it in a nicer tone. It's the same message, just coming from the YT people.
Yeah. Well, Sherbert.
What's another topic? I went way on about that.
I'm asking. Yeah, I'm asking. Should Obama be worried? They're accusing the man of treason, and
yeah, he probably should be.
You think there's a possibility that he may end up getting incarcerated or at least charged with this shit?
I believe there's at least a 30% chance of that happening because the sycophants are now the ones in power. But there was a great clapback I saw today of after Trump posted that video or the AI footage of Obama being arrested. And then Obama came back and said, I was thinking about, making my own video, but I don't have to. There's actual footage of you getting arrested.
Did Obama do that?
Yeah. Obama posted a photo of Trump at the courthouse being walked in. And it's like, I don't need to make a fake photo. I don't need to make a fake video. I've already got the court documents to show it.
Damn! Obama ain't no. Wow, that's a hell of a comeback. That don't, but that ain't going high, Sherbert. I thought they were supposed to go. Wow.
No, I've been telling you this for a little while now. We're done with going high. When they're literally subterranean with their bullshit, we can't go high anymore.
Wow, I'm about to look that. Holy shit!
Look it up. Let's pull it up. You got the Googles right there.
I'm just
put in Obama clapback to AI footage. It's got to be there.
Oh my God! Not Obama. Jesus.
No, good Obama. No more of this hiding away. Oh, no more of this like, oh, we're the better people. We can't look like we're biased. No, we're biased once you called us all child molesters, and you're the ones projecting.
It didn't come right up on YouTube. Maybe it'll come up on Google.
Okay.
Wow.
I did see it, but maybe.
And that don't sound like it caught me off guard because that don't sound like something Obama would do. I mean, you're poking a really big bear. I mean, for Obama to do something like that on Trump.
No. That's not poking. That's not poking the bear. That's responding to the bear after he pulled a shotgun on you with footage of Trump smiling like a psychotic moron while Obama's theoretically being tackled to the ground.
I mean,
no. The poke already happened. The first shot has already been fired in that duel.
Yeah.
Fuck that. I'm so tired of this, Tim. We can't keep playing when they're going to do some awful, horrible shit. Do you remember when Gomer posted that video of AOC being killed by the attack on Titan?
I didn't see that.
He posted a thing showing AOC's face on one of the Titans' heads, if you've ever seen the anime. Gigantic, 500-foot tall monsters. He put AOC's face on there, and then his face on one of the people killing the Titans. And then he got in a bunch of trouble, but nobody gave a shit. It's the exact same thing. You can't be making fake footage of this and expect nothing to happen. Yeah. People are furious. And it's all over their own stupidity. The same thing with the tariffs. All self-inflicted gunshot wounds of dumbness. And
We're trying to help America. No, you're not. You're ripping it down. You wouldn't take away the fraud police if you were trying to save America money.
But 550 million invested in the U.S. government. That's a good thing, right?
I don't know. It depends. If it's all just going to go to Trump Gaza, I don't know if we need that $500 million.
That's a great point at the beginning of the live, is that it doesn't matter how much waste, fraud, and abuse you save or how much you're getting people to invest in the U.S. government. If it doesn't change the life of the American, it's meaningless. Like, for instance, the whole claim was the illegal immigrants here, they're taking our resources, they're taking our, social programs, welfare, and things like that they're getting. Okay, if you kick them out of the country, but you don't make it any easier for me to get a social program if I fall on my face, then you might as well have given it to them. I mean, that didn't help me out at all. And I've asked folks that now that we're getting rid of them, do you feel like if you fell flat on your face, there would be more assistance available to you? And everybody says no. So then your change with them didn't make any difference.
No, people are going to die from this tax cut. There's no way you can cut all of the VA funding and Medicaid and Medicare and expect people not to die. I mean, when these rural hospitals close, somebody that just broke their leg and has to drive 3 to 4 miles to get to the next hospital to have it reset could die on the way to there of something that could be preventable. And I think the outrage is going to spike once those deaths start happening because of no good reason other than giving tax cuts to billionaires. And they're going to say, no, we were trying to save America. No, you were trying to give tax cuts to billionaires. Seeing as the person who's fighting it for it the most is the billionaires.
Yeah. Well,
so frustrated, Tim. And MAGA Reacts does not help at all with that. Every time he comes on, he's a pretzel piece of shit.
Don't be mean to the guests. I got to move it on, Sherbert, but the whole Obama thing is kind of happening as well. So, no, I wanted to have some good news today. But
last thing. Obama can't be arrested for that.
Immunity.
Because the same that keeps Trump safe is what keeps Obama safe from that. If it was an official act, you can't be arrested for it. I don't like that ruling, but it is what will keep Obama safe.
70%. I got to go. Appreciate it.
Have a good night, Tim.
You too. And I wanted to acknowledge Yoshi. You said, what is the number to call in? Let me cook. Well, we don't do it via phone. I actually got to figure out some kind of way. Is there a way of making it, a way because I wouldn't have a problem phone, speaker, and all of that. But right now, the way to call in is you either are on Clapper or TikTok. YouTube, unfortunately, does not allow guests to call in. So if you want to be a caller, if you have the Clapper app, we're on Clapper Live right now, and we're also on TikTok Live, all under the Handsome Liberal. Feel free to come on over, we'll bring you right up. By the way, if you enjoy this type of dialogue from all sides of the aisle, we go left of Bernie Sanders to I'm having dinner with Q. Everybody gets to speak. You can be critical of anybody on this program, up to and including yours truly. So if you enjoy uncensored dialogue from all sides of the aisle, follow the program if you're watching on TikTok or Clapper currently. If you're watching on YouTube, do your boy a solid. Drop a sub on there. Grant Harvard, don't run. You need to Google faster. What are you saying, Draco? Creed, I'm saying, motherfucker, your guy was found guilty and your bitch ass was making your own reality to feel good about you voting for a pedo. Damn. Grant. God, Grant, that's a mouthful. Brother, you know your brother listened to you. I did not like you at first. No, I like you very much. You fear you are fair and you listen to people. I like that you're a good man. Oh, by the way, I still hate Trump. Okay, fair enough. Thanks for the good man comment. Hell, that would have sounded good in divorce court. I would have been nice to have somebody to speak on my behalf. Appreciate that. Trump is saving America. Says, I can't, Gear Jammer, you said, saving America from, well, I guess saving America from the immigrants or something. What do you suggest that he's saving America from? Saving America from the transgender and all? I don't know. I have to hear what you would say he's saving America from. Wow, John Port says Trump raped a 14-year-old girl on Pedo Island. Meanwhile, MAGA defends and condones sexual violence against children. What evidence do you have that Trump would have done that to a 14-year-old? You don't, I mean, at least throw allegedly in it. You don't have any evidence of that. To say he abused a 14-year-old girl on that island. No evidence of that. That's a bit strong. Look, I'm not going to say anything's possible or impossible at this point. And I never bought into the notion that the only guilty party is people that were on the flight list. Because two reasons. First of all, I don't buy the idea that a serial abuser like Epstein only did it on that island. I mean, the guy got infinite wealth. You telling me if he got horny in one of his Manhattan or, Long Island condos somewhere, he couldn't have Ghislaine Maxwell send somebody over? It had to only be on the island? There's no way I believe that. If she can convince girls to go to the island, she can convince girls to come into your penthouse. So it certainly did not just happen on the island. So the whole notion of the flight list, no, it's a lot more than just that fucking flight list. That's the first thing. The second thing is most of Epstein's friends and associates are all well up deep into the 1%. These are people that are, 100 millionaires. They're not just millionaires. They are way up into the millions, if not billions of dollars. They all got access to their own yachts, their own jets. So they could get to the island without ever being on any flight list that Epstein would be connected to. They have their own aircraft. Obviously, Trump has his own plane. Trump has had his own plane for, most of our lifetime. So he don't have to be on Epstein's flight list. He had his own aircraft. So, they got their own helicopters and shit like that. So the idea that this flight list is a know-all, end-all, as if this guy didn't do anything on the mainland, and none of his clients or his associates could come unless they were on his flight list, is ridiculous. That's ridiculous. These people had all their own methods of transportation, and this guy had his own pimp in Ghislaine Maxwell that would have hooked him up anywhere in the United States. If he's hanging out in Hollywood, you're going to tell me he has to go all the way to that island in the middle of the Atlantic before he can do anything? Bullshit. He did something right there in Hollywood. Trump owned Epstein's jet now. I haven't heard that. Society should protect the vulnerable and fight for justice. Our society has never done that. Our society has never protected the vulnerable and fought for justice. Never done that. Our society has always been about defending the rich and powerful. Never, we weren't even founded on doing that. God wouldn't be for a, Jesus, you're saying God wouldn't be for a rapist. Well, like I said, let me make something clear. When you say God wouldn't be for a rapist, in our current society, we view having sexual interactions with anybody under 18 as rape. The person is underage, therefore they cannot consent. But keep in mind, throughout most of America's history, it was legal for a guy even my age to outright marry a girl that was 14 and 15. It was legal to do that in this country. I mean, I think there's a couple states that still have a law that allow you to marry people that are well under 18 as long as you get parental consent. It was legal to do it. So, I mean, and there's a lot of other countries where it's still legal to currently do that. But in America, you could legally marry somebody well under 18. So it's only been recent that it became an act of non-consensual, grape or whatever. It's been legal for most of America's history to do that. Liberals are just animated stool samples. Damn, Emory. Liberals are just animated. What does an animated stool sample look like, and why have you seen that before? That is essentially a dancing piece of shit. Where have you been to even know how to recognize that? Wow. All right, let me go back to the box. Animated stool samples. I've heard it all today. Tap the screen, folks. We should be around 80,000. You guys have been lazy as hell with the thumbs. Get your guy on up to 60,000. I'll take the next caller at that. Roy Moore shocked his wife until she was legal. Stocked his wife. Yeah, Roy Moore wasn't he the one that down in Alabama that they finally decided to get rid of? He was allegedly hanging around the mall, picking up young kids. All right. Now, Grant Harvard, you are now officially a liar. Epstein never owned Trump's personal plane. Damn sure not Air Force. Yeah, I haven't heard of that before. I have not heard of that. Michael Gutierrez, come on over to Clapper or TikTok. That's how you call in. Now this is the one this is the one where I don't understand some of the logic of MAGA. Carol Meyer on YouTube points out that Trump's creepy interviews are being replayed. His interviews of stuff he said he regrets now. I'm just gonna be honest with you. I don't know how anybody could look at all of those interviews, and there's a lot of them, all of that Howard Stern shit, which to some degree you gotta criticize why the hell would Howard Stern let this guy sit before him and say this stuff and not push back a little bit. But yeah, there's a lot of creepy interviews coming out from Trump. Him on The View talking about his daughter, what he would be doing to her if she wasn't his daughter. I mean, there's a lot of that stuff. And this is where I don't understand the MAGA. If you can hear Biden's, what is it, his daughter or whoever the hell it was in her diary talking about Biden, you know, what he did, or you see Biden sniffing the hair of a child, and you can come to all these negative conclusions about Biden, but this mountain of videos and statements from Trump don't lead you to come to the same conclusion, I don't even understand that. I mean, that's so biased, it's beyond comprehension. Is that you can look at all of that, and by the way, Biden sniffing hair and stuff like that is well beyond his prime. He's doing that as a 70-year-old man. Trump is doing this stuff when he was a young, vibrant guy in his late 40s and 50s. And you don't see any issue to suspect Trump, but you see all the issues all day long to suspect Biden. If that's how you are on it, I don't have any way to explain being that fucking biased. I mean, there's a lot orbiting around Trump. We don't know if he's guilty or not because it hasn't been convened in a court of law, but there is a lot of stuff orbiting around Trump in regards to him, even the amount of videos and footage of him hanging around Epstein with young kids in the videos, him owning a 15-year-old beauty pageant contest where some of the participants of the contest is saying he was walking in. I mean, there's just so much stuff orbiting around him that I don't see how you could see suspicion in Biden and ignore all of that stuff. I just don't understand how that could even make sense at this point. And I mean, the stuff is going back literally like maybe almost as much as 2 generations. What is a generation? 20 years? This stuff is going back like 2 generations almost. I don't see how you can see it in Biden and not see any of it. I mean, there's like dozens of this shit. And like what Carol just said, more of it is coming out that we didn't see or we just happened to hear only once in life. And I mean, you're going to start seeing montages of this shit on YouTube and, you know, E! News and Hollywood and all. I mean, you're going to start seeing this stuff. I mean, there's just mountains of it. And that's in addition to all the people who actively accused him of sexual improprieties as well. I'm not even talking about people who accuse him. I'm talking about statements that he made out of his own mouth that you're like, damn, really? You believe that? All of this stuff? Nothing? You just see it in the guy who's sniffing girls' hair on. Grant Harvard says Trump purchased Epstein's plane. Look it up. I haven't heard that. And that to me, just simply buying the man's plane that alone doesn't have any relevance other than he was obviously really good friends with Epstein in the videos, but just buying somebody's plane, I don't know if that means anything. They just reported that, everybody's been talking about that Pam Bondi told Trump that he's on the Epstein list, and then there's video footage of Trump from 8 days ago, which I played earlier, and I don't have it to bring up real quick here, but they told him, they asked him, did he know or was he told he was on the list? And he said no. He actually said no. And he said that 8 days ago. And now it's coming out that Pam Bondi told him back in May that he was on the list, which should pose a whole lot of questions. That means when he told the media 8 days ago that he didn't know he was on the list, he did know. That also means that when he tweeted out a couple weeks ago, stop talking about Epstein, When he said that, he knew he was on the list. When he posted and told everybody to stop talking about Epstein, he knew he was on the list. It also puts a lot of suspicion around him constantly saying, well, I don't know anything about that. I really haven't been following through with this. And, I mean, she told you on the fucking list and you ain't paying attention to this story? There's so much stuff he said that is likely untrue. I don't know. It's up to you what conclusion you come up to. But he clearly has not been honest on this Epstein thing. I thought there wasn't anything pertinent. I mean, there's so much that is suspicious that but like I said, I don't think it's going to make a difference with MAGA. I really do not. Going to the box, Top Dog. Good evening, welcome to the program. Well, maybe that newspapers. Hold on a second, Top Dog. Well, maybe that newspaper is lying to the nation. And by the way, why would somebody call you a handsome liberal? He says, I'm dorky looking. Yes, you can. We just deal with some real serious issues. Well, first of all, saying a newspaper is lying is one thing. There is stuff coming out about Trump from all sorts of different sources. And a lot of it is him making statements on video. It's not just one newspaper. Obviously, the Wall Street Journal was the one newspaper that said he was advised that he was on the list in May. But if you're going to say that you don't trust the credibility of the Wall Street Journal in regards to what they said about Trump on Epstein, but you do trust Trump, who's been caught in all kinds of actual lies about Epstein, you got to be biased. You haven't caught the Wall Street Journal in any lies yet about Trump and Epstein. You just don't believe them necessarily. You've actually caught Trump in a host of lies about Epstein. Top Dog, good evening.
What's up, Cam?
I don't know on this shit. Do you think this guy actually took the sexual innocence of a kid?
Yeah, damn. I mean, he just, hell, he ain't done it. That's why he's trying to hide it and trying to be secretive about you. He ain't done this bitch for 15 years. Y'all be doing the same shit together. Just because you mean to tell me, all this shit he doing in Trump, you didn't do nothing? That's just, no, Tim. He's guilty.
But what
is bullshit? We're not going to play these games.
But what
hold on, Tim.
Go ahead.
And when it comes to MAGA, they not gonna never admit when Trump is wrong, Tim. I'm not looking for them to admit when they wrong. We just, as a Democrat, we can get the 10%. Not MAGA, the other people in the middle, on the fence that didn't see which way to go. MAGA gonna do the thing, Tim. MAGA gonna look like a dumbass. That's what they do. Like MAGA react. Let me speak back here real quick. I pray to God he's listening. MAGA reacts. You're Egyptian. Your skin tone is like mine, closer to black than it is to white. I'm gonna tell him one more time. Hey, MAGA reacts.
He says he's listening to you. He said, I'm here.
They will not accept you. Your skin tone is. You're from Africa. You're from the continent of Africa. The much buck dance. MAGA react to him. He buck dance is what I call. He's buck dance. He's doing with the Tim Scott, Tim Bucky Scott, Byron. That's what he's doing. He want to fix him. Even MAGA React said this on your live. He said, sometimes what? Oh, they go right there.
Wait, you broke up. Say that, you broke up. Say that again. He said what?
I said, MAGA React said on your live, he said, sometimes I go ass white. I go white sometimes. So I guess when he doing his applications, he put down white. That's what he said.
Oh. Is that what he said? That sometimes he go at kind of like Pocahontas, but he's Egyptian and he poses as a white person. Is that what you're telling me?
Oh yeah, that's what he said, Tim, not me. He said it.
Huh. Wow.
So let's get back to Epstein. Yeah, he's on the list, Tim. Hell yeah, he's on the list. We're not gonna play these games. MAGA React, you don't want to admit that their cult leaders are rapists or pedophile. But guess what, Tim? We were saying this before the election about Donald Trump. They just never going to admit it. Because guess what? They're gonna hear me you say, aha, I told you so. I told you so. And nobody likes to hear that from anybody is, I told you so. So no matter what we say or do, they're not gonna admit it. Now when they sit at home drinking their coffee, on the back porch with their family, they know the truth. They're not stupid. They human beings. They're not stupid. but they're not gonna admit it to me, you, and to social media because they're gonna hear, you know.
Well, listen, I make it clear on here that I'm not a know-it-all, and I got MAGA, I got liberals that correct my ass all the time. What's wrong with just admitting that, you know, it's like I was defending Biden's cognitive health until he had that poor debate performance. What's wrong with admitting that you're wrong? I mean, do you stick? Because in this case, we're talking about the potential of a pedophile. Like, what would make you stick with that person so much if he did this stuff? But I'm just simply saying, you're gonna refuse to admit that you might be wrong, even if it meant you're defending a guy that may have abused a kid. You think MAGA would do that?
Well, let's go back to MAGA reacts. When you bring blatant evidence, 100% evidence, he always finds a way to shake around it, Tim. You'll get frustrated with it. Because no matter what you say, he'll justify it. He'll justify it. Just like the other day, Tim, real quick. We were talking about Donald Trump's ankles, right? They were swollen.
Yeah.
You know what MAGA react said? My ankles swell up too sometimes. What the fuck is he talking about, man? Not normal. What your ankles swell up? You know, and from the way he sounds, I think he's in his MAGA react in his mid-20s or 30s or something like that, Tim. So if you're dealing with some swollen ankles in your 20s and 30s, you need to get to the hospital.
Oh my God.
You said my ankles swell up like that too sometimes. What? Oh, okay, yeah, he's definitely in the cult. He's a follower, you know. What it is, Tim, when a person like MAGA reacts, when he grew up, some of those decision. You know, the blacks, the Latinos, or do I try to get on this side of the fence and try to hang with the white folks? And that's what he done. That's what he done.
All right. Oh my God. I don't even have nothing to say.
He said it, Tim, not me. He said it. He said his ankles swell sometimes. Like, what? You know, so, you know, Tim, when it comes to this Epstein thing, I want the Democrats to keep pushing the button, pressing the button, because guess what? Something's going to come out, Tim. What I learned from you in politics, when the news media keep pressing the issue on the issue, that list, it's going to get released, Tim. It's a matter of time.
But let me ask you this though. Even if the list get released and Trump is on it or whatever, over half of the voters voted for Trump. He won. So do you think it would matter to them to the point where they would want him gone? Yeah, you got folks who say all the time, I don't like when Trump does that, or I don't support him over here, but I like his policies. I think he's doing what's great for America. I've had people tell me that, look, out of all of the things Trump has done great for this country, I'm not going to let this one thing, and we're talking about the Epstein list, I'm not going to let this one thing make me lose my support for him. So you got people that are, and I actually have asked a few folks, I said, you do know we're talking pedophilia. Like, this guy has done so much great for this country, I'm not going to let that one thing, sway my opinion of him. So even if he is on the list, is it going to matter?
Like I say, Tim, it don't matter. The MAGA code, we're not trying to get there. We're trying to get that 10%, them independents. That's what we're trying to get, Tim. MAGA gonna do their thing. They cult followers. They gonna do their thing. They gonna ride with it no matter what. I'm not worried. Democrats, we don't need to worry about them. We're worried about that 10% and the ones that's on the fence. The ones that independent and don't know which way to go. We want them right there, Tim. You know, if the Democrats play their cards right in 2026, we can take the House and the Senate, Tim. The House and the Senate.
But do you really see? Okay, so you say that we can take the House and Senate. Do you really see the Republicans being so disgruntled at Trump for this Epstein shit that they would vote Democrat?
Well, no. What I say is a lot of people that we had said at this last election, it was 75 million voters that did not get out and vote. Eligible voters did not get out and vote.
Okay.
So when the way he's treating these Latinos, these Hispanics, 40 different races, they're going to get out and get him out of there.
Yeah.
They tired. The Hispanics, let me just say this real quick. I got a PSA for the Hispanics, Latino community. If y'all still run with this bullshit, I ain't just treating y'all in y'all face, I'm on know what else to tell y'all. I really don't. I'm not saying the Democratic Party is much better or whatever. I'm not gonna go down that road, Tim. But if y'all feel like the Republican Party is for you and your family, I'm sorry. This is how I feel about it, Tim. Same way Trump is telling his followers, if you fall for this Epstein stuff, you're a dumbass. You know, you're the stupid ass for believing this stuff, right? That's what he said, right?
Okay.
Okay, there you go. Well, same thing. If you believe bullshit, if you let him talk, if you let him tell you that this shit is true, then when you look for it, he tell you no, you're full of shit. Well, hey, Tim, you can't change MAGA. You can't change MAGA. MAGA gonna ride with Trump like you said on your platform all the time. MAGA ain't going nowhere. MAGA ain't going nowhere, but that's cool. But guess what? After Trump, MAGA's over with.
I don't believe that. I don't believe that.
No. Okay, tell me actually this. Who got the juice like Trump? Don't say J.D. Vance.
So that doesn't, wait, but hold on. And I agree with you. No one in the Republican Party has anywhere near, as you say, the juice like Trump. But that doesn't mean MAGA goes away. It just makes it weaker. Because we had the Tea Party before we had MAGA. And the Tea Party is kind of the same thing. They just didn't have anywhere near as strong of a leader as they do now in Trump. But the movement is still there. What they represent is still there. It's just, you're right, nobody is going to energize the movement to the level of Trump. There will be people that will step up, but nobody has the juice like Trump does. I agree with that.
Well, there you go. That's what I'm saying. So I don't see J.D. Vance. I don't see nobody in the Republican Party to come in and still have the same that's going to move the MAGA like Trump. So after Trump, MAGA, it'll fade away in another 5-10 years. We won't hear nothing about MAGA. MAGA will be just like the Tea Party in 2009, just like we talked about the Tea Party. It was something. I
don't buy that after Trump goes away, you're not going to hear about it. There's so much money to be made in continuing MAGA. I mean, obviously the merchandise and shit like that. Steve Bannon and Miller and them folks are still going to be yelling MAGA. There's just way too much. If Trump passed away, they're going to keep saying there's way too much money and power still in that movement. It's going to take a while before that dissolves. That ain't going to just go away if Trump was to leave. I just don't see that.
Well, it's not going to go immediately away, but it will fade away, Tim. It will fade away. You know, Trump getting on up out of there, the next Republican coming. I feel like the Democrats, if we play our cards right, we can win the next 3 elections, Tim. Because Trump is running off his Hispanic. If we can get the Hispanics to come back over, because they see how he treated them. If y'all do this shit again, Latino, I don't know what to tell y'all. Like, what else y'all want to see? I don't know what else he can do to y'all. You know what I mean?
Well, I can't totally disagree with that, but I got to move it on, Top Dog. Thank you for holding, by the way. I appreciate that, man. Thanks for calling.
Yeah, appreciate it, Tim. I got to get back up on my live with you again. I'm gonna start locking in with you.
Always a pleasure. Always a pleasure. Thank you.
We rarely disagree. You know, we rarely disagree for some reason.
And the way I get accused of fluffing and kissing MAGA's ass, I'm surprised you would say that.
Hey, we rarely disagree, Tim. I'll see you tomorrow, Tim. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Shout out to you. Thank you. Real quick in the comments, Sherbert said that in there, because I said there will be selling MAGA apparel and things like that long after Trump is gone. Sherbert says they are still selling Confederate flags too. Well, they're selling Confederate flags because the movement, what the Confederate supporters represent, that movement is still there. What those folks believed back in the late 1700s, there is still a nice contingent of Americans that support that, which is why you still see them flying the flag and talking about the South will rise again. I think you'll still see MAGA hats being flown in this country, and they would, because I think Reagan and even Clinton has used the phrase "Make America Great Again," but under Trump, the red hat with the white lettering, you'll see these hats being worn probably long after we're gone. This is now a movement. This is now. I wouldn't be surprised if you start seeing them with Confederate flags affixed to them. Has anybody? I wonder. Has anybody seen one of those? They probably have them out now. I haven't seen one. Has anybody ever seen a MAGA hat with it? Because you see the American flag on there, but has anybody ever seen a MAGA hat that had the Confederate flag on it? I would be surprised if they don't have something like that out already. But the movement will be there. Oh yeah, some big dog said they all over Arkansas. Okay, fair enough. Because I mean, generally, if you go to a lot of Trump gatherings, people are there with the Confederate flag. The movements have a lot of similarities in common. Those movements are, they're not totally similar, but lots of people that believe in one believe in support the other one. The MAGA movement, the folks who believe that, you know, what the South was onto was a good thing, or the South will rise again. A lot of them folks have the same viewpoint. So if you go to one gathering, like if you go to a gathering where people are fighting in defense of the Confederate statues and defense of the Confederate flag being able to be flown, chances are they also support Trump and MAGA. If you go to a MAGA gathering, chances are many of them support the Confederate. I mean, so there's a lot of similarities and a lot of connections between them. I'll just say it like that. Looking in the comments, though, can't get right counters by saying, you're full of shit. Okay. Can't get right. Can't get right, I'll tell you this. We don't block, ban, or censor. So understand this is a free speech program. We remain MAGA friendly. You can be critical of anybody, including yours truly. But I am going to ask, though, during your moment of criticism, I always say put some meat on the bread. I mean, I can't, okay, he says I'm full of shit, fair enough. I can't do anything with that, though. Give me something to work with as to why you feel that way. Just, you know, some people put in there a clown emoji. You can't do shit with that. You got a whole fucking screen to type, and that's all you can come up with. Makes it look like you did really bad in creative writing class. I mean, like, put something in there. You got an uncensored program, goddammit. Speak. Handsome Agent Boo says, wow, somebody made Tim cry laughing. Wow, beautiful Tim has a soul. You thought I was soulless? Goddamn, Major. It's beautiful to see him cry. That was funny, though, what he was saying. I don't even remember what it was now, but it was really funny. I couldn't help it. So it is what it is. Occasionally it happens. But you said I got a soul. What the fuck? Thought I was soulless? Real quick, I want to make sure I didn't miss another post here. Bear with me. Somebody says, great, definitely a pussy. Creed, what are you talking about? How about take the blinders out your eyes? Creed and Shamrock, that was for, okay. GOP, Guardians of Pedophilia. That's a hell of an acronym. Being ignorant is not funny. Really? Nana Gint? She says being ignorant is not funny. It is amazing how being critical of Trump, suddenly when you're critical of Trump, words matter. Being ignorant is not fun. Trump posted a video of Biden hogtied in the back of a pickup truck. Well, that was just a joke. But then when being ignorant is not funny all of a sudden. You ever heard of the term snowflake? I mean, Trump says all kinds of awful shit about people. Well, it's just a joke. I mean, the stuff is ignorant as fuck. And it's always okay. But the minute you criticize him, it suddenly matters. Captain, good evening.
Conservatives have always been the cancel culture creators. I don't care what anyone does. So
I've never. I'm
it off like they're this free speech platform now that they got Trump saying a bunch of ridiculous shit up there. You know, you got to justify it somehow. But they don't give a fuck about free speech. They don't give a fuck about any of that stuff.
Well, so you see Trump supporters as being, they would be okay with taking away your First Amendment right?
I'm not even just talking about Trump supporters. I'm talking about conservatives in general. The cancel culture movement started with conservatives. It started around the George H.W. Bush and George Bush terms.
Yeah, we mentioned
They're
that.
the ones who started the parental advisory stickers, taking shows down that used language they didn't agree with, all this stuff. And somehow now it's being pinned on Democrats just because they care about transgenders and stuff.
Yeah, I've said that before, that when it comes to cancel culture, even without going all the way back to the way the conservatives were against hip hop in music like that, but also to the Dixie Chicks when they were protesting the Iraq War, and the right was canceling them during the Iraq War, and obviously now we have the ability to Monday morning quarterback and look back. The Dixie Chicks were more right than they were wrong. So was Cindy Sheehan. That war was unnecessary. But the right was boycotting France, talking about freedom fries and all this crazy shit. So they were canceling people.
Yeah, same thing with Green Day, Blink-182, Eminem, anybody that criticized what they were doing in the Middle East. So, yeah, 100%. You're right.
Yeah. And now it's Taylor Swift.
Also, I gotta say, shout out to Sherman, man. I haven't laughed like that in a while watching these videos. Good stuff. I gave you a follow, my man.
Thank you. Normally I'm getting hammered by the likes of Gangsta Grandma and many of my more detractors from the liberal side of the aisle, but yeah, that was funny. He had me crying with that shit.
Yeah. Gangsta needs to take a chill pill just a little bit. I agree with most of what she said.
Yeah. Well, how about this one? Handsome Major Boo says MAGA Reacts needs to get in bed with Trump. Do you agree with that?
MAGA Reacts is something else, man. That guy, I honestly have a hard time not believing he's a troll. I really do. I think he comes on here and acts ignorant to get a reaction out of the liberals. Now, that's not to say he doesn't actually support Trump. But just, man, you can't tell that guy anything. You can't tell him anything. He doesn't believe a fucking word that comes out of your mouth. All he believes is Trump. And he'll spin and twist anything that guy does or says. Anything you bring up. But I haven't heard one time that he's criticized him for anything. Ever. He might have thrown out some, well, I don't totally agree with that, but he's never been like, no, I don't agree with what Trump is doing here.
Well, I gotta push back. He didn't agree with the Iran conflict when Trump invaded Iran. I mean, we were talking about that when it happened. That was something he did not agree with. Trump promised to end wars. Some of them don't agree with suddenly funding the Ukrainians. I mean, he's done a few things.
I guarantee if you pushed him enough on that topic for long enough, he would find a way to defend that topic. I guarantee it. If you don't believe me, test it.
I'm afraid to even do that. Because I think you may be more likely right than wrong.
I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt by saying he's a troll, because if not, he's just completely ignorant. I don't think he's a stupid guy. Don't take ignorant for stupid. That's not what I mean by ignorant. Ignorant means ignoring evidence to further your agenda or whatever. He's not stupid. He's intellectual. He speaks well. He has good points. He's good at debating. But the guy is just ignorant. He doesn't listen to anything people tell him. Nothing.
Mm. Well, I'll tell you, I mean, when you say ignoring evidence, I do see a lot of that from the supporters of Trump. I mean, like I said, it doesn't matter what he's accused of. Nobody's going to be able to come forward and say, yes, Trump did that, and MAGA's going to believe it. I mean, we saw what happened during the 2020 election. Trump's entire administration, from Mike Pence on, I don't think there's one single member of Trump's administration from his first term that says he won that election. And yet, like I said, there's nobody who's going to speak against Trump, and they're going to believe him. They believe Trump won that election despite the fact that none of his administration says he won. They all say he lost. I don't think there's a Republican governor in this country that says he won. I don't think there's a Republican senator in this country that says he won. Maybe Marjorie Taylor Greene or Bobart among the Congress people. Maybe. Outside of that, the entire whole of Washington that have an R behind their name say he lost that election, and they believe him, and all of them people are lying. So I don't know what else to say on that.
You know how I know Trump's on that list? And we say the list, but I mean, let's be realistic. There's not an actual list of people's names on it. There's all kinds of concrete evidence. But his administration is now coming out and saying that they have concrete evidence that there's extraterrestrial life.
Damn!
I mean, come on, man. Look at all the stupid shit they're throwing at us at once. Like, oh, look over here. Look at this. Don't look at the Epstein files.
You know, yesterday on the program, I used the example. I just made up a fictional example of it's like Trump and Epstein are in a fighter aircraft, and folks have fired a series of missiles trying to hit the target, and they're just dumping. One of the flares might say Rosie O'Donnell's citizenship is threatened. Now you're talking about extraterrestrial. They're just dumping flares. Obama cheated in the election. Hillary Clinton. They're dumping flares trying to avoid these missiles, and it seems like the missiles are staying on target. But they're dumping as many flares as they can get their hands on.
The problem is they're not. They're doing it in a way that makes them look guilty.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not. you're throwing all this shit at once. You got to be smarter about it if you want to distract people. It's too obvious.
Yeah.
And let me just say to MAGA Reacts, yeah, man, I don't think you're a dumb person. I debate you. I get on here and talk to you and debate you. I just think that you ignore a lot of evidence in defense of your own argument. And also, I gotta give you a shout out. He praised Jon Stewart as well. So shout out for that, Jon Stewart 2028.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, MAGA React said he like, well, you know, and the reason I asked it because you don't normally, MAGA does not normally favor comedians that are critical of Trump, but he did admit he likes Jon Stewart. So, all right, so be it.
I don't honestly believe there's anyone out there that could honestly tell themselves that they don't like Jon Stewart. I mean, what has the guy done? Yeah, he's a comedian and he makes fun of right-wing politics, but like, look at all the good he's done for the right-wing party, even with all these veteran bills and the 9/11 bills and all this stuff. You can't hate the guy. He's a good guy.
I don't know. I mean, they hated the Pope, so I don't know. Trump didn't even like the Pope that just died.
Well, they hated the Pope because they thought the Pope was diddling kids. So, you know.
They thought I thought it was.
At least that's the conspiracy.
I think it was because the Pope was actually not harsh on the LGBT lifestyle and was trying to expand the base, like trying to change some of the traditional rules because the Catholic Church is starting to lose followers and they don't want him going against, you know, they don't want the church going against traditional values.
Yeah, I mean, not everybody's Catholic though, so I guess it kind of makes sense.
That is true. So.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not saying there's not some people. There's all kinds of people out there. I just think he's a very hard person to dislike, and I think if he was to run for politics, I think a lot of people would align with what he had. Because I mean, he's pretty centrist. It's not like he's a radical liberal either. So.
Yeah. Well, but you know, they can always trap him by asking them, "What's your definition of a woman?" And liberals fall into that trap every damn time.
Man, if that's the only thing they have, they need to come up with something new.
I want to agree with you, but that's been.
How long are they going to be able to play that game? You know what I mean?
I hear what you're saying, but that has been exceptionally effective, making folks believe that the liberals are blending genders. That's been really effective. I mean, up to and including Tampon Tim. That's just been really good. That's been really effective.
Yeah. But going back to the Epstein thing, man, you've had a lot of people on here. I don't know that there's even much more I can add. You know, you've had multiple.
Well, let me speaking of
laying out all of the evidence, and if people don't see that and come to some sort of conclusion, I don't have anything for them.
So you too believe that Trump may have actually taken the sexual innocence of a child?
You know, I'm not sure if he was taking the sexual innocence of a child or selling them to people.
Damn, that's even worse.
But what I do know, well, I mean, it's a strong opinion, I guess, if you want to be technical, but he is involved somehow. I think that's pretty obvious. Somehow he is involved with Jeffrey Epstein. He might be covering for other people that were involved with him, I guess. That's bad enough. But realistically, the guy's been a pervert his entire life. You can't even refute that. He said so many things on TV about grown women, let alone young women. I mean, the guy has admitted on Howard Stern that he's a pervert.
Yeah. So
I just don't understand how anyone could be like, oh, there's a 99% chance he's not on that list.
That's
I mean, come on.
That's what MAGA React said, a 99% chance.
I would have accepted like a 30, 40% chance, something like that. But come on, man, you cannot tell me that you don't come to some sort of conclusion. You may not want to admit it, but you can't tell me you don't sit there and think after you get off the call, like, man, it's hard to defend this guy.
Well, Trump is easy to defend if you're MAGA. I got to move it on, Captain, but Trump is easy to defend if you're MAGA. And I think that he will survive this. I mean, I really believe he will. Because like I stated, I don't think there's anybody that can tell you he did it and MAGA's going to give them credibility.
Yeah, well, we can always hope, I guess.
Good luck with that.
Man, I'll let you
Appreciate it.
Let's do it. 2028. Let's get it.
Good luck with that too, Captain. Always a pleasure. All right, moving on to the program. By the way, tap the screen. We might get 100 tonight, but we can certainly get 90 if you let your thumbs not be lazy. Tap the screen, get the likes on up. Follow the program. If you haven't, if this is one of your first times tuning in, we don't block, ban, or censor anyone. So despite the opinions you hear, understand if you're on here and your opinion is 180 degrees of the opinion you may have just heard, you'll be allowed to speak too. So we do run an uncensored program. If you enjoy that, follow the program if you're watching on Clapper, TikTok, or give your boy a sub if you're watching on YouTube. Looking in the comments, that is scary, brother, says Carl. Wow, somebody said he raped his own wife. Really? What makes anyone think he was drugged or any other mountain of other ways? I haven't heard any of that. I'll leave it at that. I haven't heard that. How come Obama or Biden didn't release the Epstein files? If Trump is in it, their whole mission was to destroy Trump. I hear that all the time, Pinky. And I'll just tell you this, because the notion is that, well, if a person's enemy is on the list, then they would release the list. The fact that they didn't release the list and their enemy is allegedly on it means the enemy must not be on the list. Well, Trump hates the Clintons. I don't think there's anybody who would argue with that. Trump hates the Clintons. Bill Clinton's name is on the list. Bill Clinton, I think his name is on the flight list like 27 times. Yet Trump is out here telling people to stop talking about Epstein. So Trump blows the theory of if your enemy is on the list, you would release it out of the water because he's not doing it. His enemy, Bill Clinton, is on the list and he's talking about that. Well, let's stop talking about it and saying it's a hoax. So Biden's not releasing a list. There may be some reason, like covering up for Democrats, Biden may have done it. But I'm just simply saying the argument that you would release the list if your enemy is on it. Trump blows that out of the water because he's not releasing the list, and we know that Bill Clinton's name is on the flight list. So take that and think of it that way. He literally campaigned on it, and that's the problem, Paul Davis, is that people keep saying, well, why didn't Biden release the list? Biden didn't campaign on it. Trump did. Trump was trying to say and do whatever it took to get elected without ever considering, and this is my humble opinion, this is my personal analysis. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong, but this is my personal analysis on this. Trump was campaigning and saying whatever it took to get elected without ever considering people might actually expect me to do this stuff if I win. That's how I feel about it. He never thought if I get in there, people might actually hold me accountable for this stuff. I think he kind of thought he could get in there and make the Epstein list just disappear. And apparently that's not working. And as my last caller stated, the more flares, using the example I used, the more flares he throws out to get the heat-seeking missiles, which is at this point the general public, now that it consists of both MAGA and the Democrats, the more flares he throw out, the more people are starting to wonder what the fuck is on that jet, and they're just firing more missiles. Like there must be something about this bullseye because they just seem to be dumping every flare possible, up to and including threatening people's citizenship, threatening to lock up a former president. I mean, every day he's throwing out another flare. And people realize that, there must be something to this story. Up to and including, as I played before, which I found a clip. Now, remember the the Wall Street Journal, WSJ, as I'm thinking of the acronyms, but Wall Street Journal released a statement today, or article today, saying that Trump was advised by his Attorney General, Pam Bondi, back in May, 2 months ago, almost 3 months ago, that he is on the Epstein list. He was advised by his own Attorney General that he's on the list. Here is a clip of Trump speaking to the media 8 days ago. And I gotta get my damn audio working, but this is Trump talking to the media just 8 days ago.
Mr. President, your daughter-in-law said that there should be transparency in the Epstein case. Do you agree with her, sir?
The Attorney General's handled that very well. She's really done a very good job. And I think that when you look at it, you'll understand that I would like to see that also. But I think the Attorney General, the credibility is very important. And you want credible evidence or something like that. And I think the Attorney General has handled it very well.
Did she tell you, what did she tell you about the review? And specifically, did she tell you at all that your name appeared in the
No, she's given us just a very quick briefing. And in terms of the credibility of the different things that they've seen, and I would say that, these files were made up by Comey, they were made up by Obama, they were made up by the Biden.
So he's been advised, if what the Wall Street Journal said turns out to be true, that means all of this is a fucking lie. This is what I'm saying. It's great to have a president that talks to the media every day, but if you're not honest, there's gonna be a host of video footage of you lying about every damn thing. Now, if the Wall Street Journal is correct in saying that Pam Bondi advised him that he was on the Epstein list back in May, here he is talking about, she asked him flat out, did they tell you you were on the list? And his response was no. He clearly said no 8 days ago, even though the Wall Street Journal was saying he knew he was on the list almost 3 months ago. Also keep in mind, once again, this is all pending on the Wall Street Journal's article being accurate that he was told 3 months ago or back in May he was on the list. Remember just a few weeks ago when he was talking about stop talking about Epstein? That means he was sending that out while knowing he's on the list. How much more of a cover-up can you get than that? So he really, I'm going to put emphasis on really, he really needs to make the Wall Street Journal go away. Because if their information is accurate, it just blows everything he's been saying probably for the last few months about this out of the water and turns it all into a whole bunch of lies. If he knew he was on that list back in May, he's been constantly telling the media when they ask him questions, well, I really don't follow it that much. And you knew you was on the fucking list. And everybody's asking questions about, there's no way in hell we're going to believe that you have not been following what's been going on with this. At this point, you'd have to be living under a rock. People in other countries know this is going on right now. If you look at YouTube videos and shit, like people that live in other nations that know that this is going on. You're the president of the country. People think you might be on the list and you're not following this? He needs to make the Wall Street Journal go away. Just telling you. Because if what they're saying ever gets proven, but like I said, I don't know if it'll mean anything to MAGA. Looking in the comments, the FBI already went through Trump's house. What does that got to do with this? Marlene, what does that got to do with you said the FBI already went through Trump's house. What do you think, he got young kids in his crib? What is going through his house got to do with this? I mean, if anybody that's out abusing children, you think they got evidence in their home that they doing it? Some people don't bring the evidence home. I don't know what going through his house has to do with it. Trump already admitted to knowing Epstein in like 2016. If he was guilty, he would have been charged already. Well, if he's innocent, why is he lying so much? If you can see it your way, where if he was on the list, Biden would have released it, and if he was guilty, why has he not been charged? Well, if he's innocent, why is he lying so fucking much? Why is he lying so much? Stop talking about Epstein. It's a Democratic hoax. You see on this video, he's claiming that it was created by Obama. First, the list don't exist. Now the Democrats are creating it. So if he's innocent, why is he? Who else would you give the benefit of the doubt to at this level? Who else? Would you give the benefit of the doubt to Biden with all this evidence hovering around him? I don't understand how to even make this make sense at this point. Let me go ahead and continue on with Mr. Walter. Good evening. Welcome to the program, Mr. Walter. The Justice Department informed Trump. Yeah, everybody's been saying that today, Joe. Yeah, they informed him he was on the list like back in May. He's known he was on the list quite a while ago. Mr. Walter, good evening.
Hey, Tim, how you doing today?
I'm in the trenches. A lot of folks do not believe this stuff that's coming out. They believe that Trump is being railroaded.
I mean, I do believe that there's a non-insignificant part of MAGA that is, waking up, to what happened. And there are some that probably want to stay in the,
Hold on. Let me just
whatever.
Let me interrupt you because I got a comment I want to point out because this is something somebody Creed is in the comments saying y'all almost voted for a guy who put tampons in a men's bathroom, and I'm just going to counter by saying we are currently talking about the guy who did win, who possibly put his you know what in a kid. So the tampons thing is starting to fade away. It's kind of like the Back to the Future picture where Michael J. Fox is fading away. He possibly put his genitals in a kid is what we're discussing. Mr. Walter.
I mean, there's depositions from one of his accusers on camera. I know her first name is Katie. I can't remember her last name. If you want to look it up, you can look it up.
Say that again?
That talks. Say again?
No, I didn't hear what you said. Repeat it.
There was a video testimony from one of his accusers. Her first name is Katie.
I've heard about it. Yeah.
Yes.
Nobody believes her. They don't believe any of the accusers. They're all lying. They're all just out. They're all in it for the money.
But you never looked it up just to see, because I have seen it a couple of times, and you can kind of spot a bullshitter. At least I feel like I can. Like when Trump's talking about Obama and all that. I mean, it's so obvious that this man is on his back heels. He is trying to, take every fucking flare like you're talking about and throw it out there. But this testimony from this one woman, I think she was 14 at the time, and it's just absolutely gut-wrenching. And she was about to come, have a press conference, and her phone was stolen from her house, and her car was stolen from her house the day that she was supposed to come and do this press conference. Mm. And she's never been heard of from since.
It's interesting you would bring that up because we got a viewer in the comments. Pinky is saying, "Well, how come no kid has come forward?" And you're essentially admitting here's one right here. I mean, the thing about it is whether it's a grown, because it would all be grown now, obviously, and they would be telling you what may have happened between them and Trump as a child. The thing is, we're not gonna believe him anyway, because there are people from his beauty pageant that are saying he was coming in the dressing room. They're grown women now. We obviously don't believe E.G. and Carol. We're not gonna believe what any of these women say. So it doesn't matter if they come forward or not. We're gonna dismiss them all as being money grubbers or never Trumpers or something.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. I'm not saying that this person's testimony, which is, I don't know, I think it came out like 2016 or something, it's going to make any difference. I'm just saying, if you're a person who is like, I don't know about this guy, I don't know, it doesn't seem maybe just quite right, look it up, watch it, and it's gut wrenching, and it's
where is that on YouTube?
I'm sure. I don't know. I'm sure it's on YouTube. I could jump out the app and find it.
If you get it, send it to me in the DMs or whatever. I would like to see it. We may end up discussing it in the future because obviously this is not going away. I mean, because Trump is constantly trying to dodge all these flares. He's just drawing more attention to this because it's pretty clear he's not being honest about this stuff.
If he had all this information on Obama his first term, why didn't he bring charges then? I mean, it makes zero sense.
That's a great question because they're constantly saying if Trump was on the list, why didn't Biden release it? You're right. If Obama did all this stealing of the election, why didn't you do anything about it in 2016? I don't think they even realize the same stuff they're saying can be used back against them.
Let's not forget that this man, Epstein, was arrested, his final arrest, under Trump. Trump's, AG at the time, I think it was Bill Barr. I can't remember exactly if it was Bill Barr. He was the one that did that, and don't forget, I'm talking to MAGA people. Look up Pam Bondi and Epstein's trial in Florida and Acosta and their history. These are two people that are still in the administration now that gave him that sweetheart deal in Florida. And then he got out of there,
but like I keep saying, if Trump says he didn't do it, damn it, with MAGA, he didn't do it. I mean, his word carries a hell of a lot of weight. If Trump says I didn't do it, I don't care if a person's been sworn. I don't care if it's, if it's a cop, if it's FBI. His word carries a lot. Like I mentioned earlier, when he said the election was stolen, the whole Republican Party in terms of Washington said otherwise. And his word carried more weight than every senator, governor, congresswoman, and man. His word is that heavy.
I 100% agree with you, but I do think that there is a percentage of MAGA who are not buying this shit. I mean, you have to have some common sense in your head to see this as like, Jesus Christ, this guy, I mean, I've seen videos on TikTok. I don't know what the real number is that are coming around to this guy being a fucking grifter, but there is a percentage. And I think the more that he is digging his heels in, like, what's going to happen when nobody gets arrested for this Obama thing? Nobody's going to get arrested. Nothing's going to happen. He could have done that when his first term. He didn't do any goddamn thing.
But he'll say what he said about Hillary Clinton, how she was guilty, but I realized, how bad it would be for the country, and I let her off the hook, is what he said. He'll say the same thing for Obama.
Now he's saying he's got him, case closed, smoking gun. Okay, he never said that before. He's trying to throw everybody off this trail for sure. I mean, it's just so obvious. It's ridiculous.
But what about the notion that this guy has done so much for this great country that I'm not going to let one little thing like the Epstein list, deter my support? I've had people say that. Look, yeah, but this guy's done so much. I'm not going to let that happen.
I believe too, and I just think we're talking about people who are in a cult. I mean, how can you argue that they're not in a cult if that's what they're believing? I mean, I have a buddy whose parents are MAGA, and he tells me that they think Jesus has appointed him. It doesn't matter. It's just, God works in mysterious ways, and, they're all evangelical, whatever. And there's nothing. And, he tells them, he's like, look at the evidence. He lays it out, right? No, you just don't understand, God has his plan. That's what these people believe.
That sounds like something a priest would use to abuse a kid too. But while you were talking, I just got a notification dropped down that says Elon Musk is trolling Trump. I couldn't read the whole thing, but apparently Elon Musk is saying something about this. I don't know if Elon may suddenly get deported, but it does say Elon Musk is trolling Trump. So go ahead.
What do you think of the theory that Vance and the other tech bros are going to try to lay Trump out with this stuff and put Vance in?
Trump could make Vance or any. I mean, you see how quick he made Elon disappear. Trump could make JD Vance disappear like that. There's nobody in that party, nobody in the Republican Party that has anywhere near the love and adoration of Trump. If Trump starts attacking JD Vance, his days are numbered. Look what he did to Pence. Pence is pretty much living on a fucking island at this point. He's starting to pop up on CNN. He got thrown away so bad. So
I hear you. It seems suspect that he went out to Montana and visited Rupert Murdoch and his whatever the fuck in Montana. But I don't know. We'll see what happens with that. I don't believe it either. I just think that it's just sort of a happy circumstance.
I gotta tell you, there's a lot of value in going after Obama. Look, yeah, the guy may have done something here or there with Epstein, but shit, he's taken out, Obama was an enemy of the United States. He's taken out crooked Hillary. That shit's worth a lot of capital, man. If he continues talking about doing that, there's a lot of MAGA that'll forgive him.
Where's the indictment? Where's the proof? If you analyze the actual proof that what he said, it's absolute bullshit. Obama's on camera. He had a press briefing, and he said the opposite of what they're claiming.
I hate to sound like, Allen Iverson. Proof? You're talking about proof? Nobody cares about proof. I mean, it's Trump. If Trump says it, that's the proof.
If he comes out and says, we got him, there's no chance he's not guilty, and nothing happens. Are they not going to ask questions? Like this whole thing that they're asking questions
I told you earlier that if Trump grabbed you or grabbed me or grabbed anybody and said we were an illegal immigrant, MAGA would not ask for any proof. That would be good. Is that you?
That ain't me.
That ain't you? All right, I got to step away then. I got to figure out what the hell that is. I'm gonna have to unfortunately end this show. I got a smoke alarm going off somewhere. Appreciate you guys that are tuned in. I'm sorry, but I gotta suspend the show until I figure out what the hell's going off. It may be one of my last days on air.